beat up Giraffe at cruiserweight, then went to heavyweight. So we gotta take the time period in consideration too of what those wins. Some wins will age better in time versus a time period when they happen.
James Tony was like next. He was close to being like a pound for pound type guy
When Roy fought him. But we gotta think when this interview, what you're showing, when that was said in the year 2000, at that point James Tony had went through sort of a slump, and then he had to he rebuilt himself once he got with Freddie Roach, and he was at cruiserweight and stuff like that.
So you're saying that he went through a slump before Roy beat him?
No, he went through a slump after that. There's a period between.
My point is, no. Hear what I'm saying. My point is, when Roy beat him, he was arguably number one pound for pound. He definitely was the best 168-pound fighter.
Correct, but there was a period between that and this time period. Because you got to think, between this and Richard Hall was like 6 years. So those 6 years, James Tony was looked at as on the downside before he came back.
But regardless of how you view him, when Roy beat him, he was.
That's true. But we also got to think about the time.
So what Wolf is saying, Bill, is that you're moving the goalpost, bro. That's what he's trying to say.
No, I'm not moving the goalpost. I'm taking
it. How are you not?
Like for example,
when he fought. Wait, stop. When he fought James Tony was number one pound for pound. It doesn't matter what happened after that. When he fought him, he was the number one guy. And he beat him easy.
But when he fought Bernard Hopkins was basically a
contender. He was the number one guy at middleweight, and he beat him easy.
He beat him. But my point, though, in addition to what Shelton is saying, is that that's a harsh, like they're really being very critical of Roy Jones. And to me, at that time, how brash he was, he says it on here that they want to see him bleed. They just want to see somebody, they want to humble him, to me, more so than anything else, as opposed to somebody that great showcasing those skills, multiple weight classes, and doing it like, you can't say he's boring, he's not this or that, he's outstanding. Like, he checks off all of the boxes. So it's like, no, we want you to go ahead and give you some we setting a standard for you that you can't really, it's hard to obtain, and really we putting you in a situation where it could be dangerous. Like, go fight a heavyweight, go fight Lennox, go fight this person, go fight Holyfield, and this smaller guy that you're trying to force to do all of these different things, as opposed to just appreciating what it is that you see, as opposed to critiquing and being so critical of them, is what I'm trying to say. And then you think about that in retrospect now, we can't get any of these dudes to fight another pound for pound guy. You know what I'm saying? He's fighting, he's looking for the best. Only person I remember who Roy seemed to me, I'm like, dude, just go ahead and whoop that dude. When it was Darius Michalczewski, but they wanted him to fight in Germany. It's like, I ain't going over there. And I know the reluctance of Roy doing that based on what happened in the Olympics. You know, I understood that at the time to a certain degree, but I still wanted him to go ahead and handle that. But again, I just thought they were being, way too critical of this guy.
But they do that to all of them, Will. They do that to all of them. They did it to Ali. They did it to Holmes. They did it to Tyson. They did it to Roy. They did it to Floyd. They did it to all the great fighters that they felt needed to be humbled. They did the same thing. This hasn't changed. This ain't nothing new. They doing it now to Crawford.
I don't want to see that.
Same shit. Same shit. What is he doing? Who the hell does he think he is? He doesn't deserve a fight with Canelo. Oh, this so bullshit. It's the same playbook. It hasn't changed since the 70s, bro. It hasn't changed.
But see, with Crawford, I don't see that though. I don't see anybody saying he don't deserve a Canelo fight.
Because you're not on these YouTube streets listening to these podcasters. That's why. Yeah. If you listen. If you was out here listening, you would hear.
I'm sure if I wanted to, I mean, you can hear whatever it is you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying.
No, that's bullshit. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
What I'm saying is that I don't know. My listening of podcasts is going to be kind of limited because a lot of the stuff that they say I don't want to hear from this
That's
standpoint.
my point. That's my point. That's my point exactly. So you're not hearing everything that we're hearing. That's all I'm saying.
I wasn't finished though. So I'm saying the reason why I don't listen to the guys is because a lot of times they'll have people on and they'll give them opportunities to talk about stuff that it's really messing things up. Well, you shouldn't have to fight him. Look at the money over here, and he did this. And it's like, dude, do you want to see the fight or not? Like, how are you gonna give these dudes some justifications for not fighting somebody that we all want to see him fight? So that little stuff like that irks me. But also, a lot of guys just aren't, to me, reputable enough and qualified enough to be having those type of discussions. So it turns me off. So it's limited. But as far as like what I look for, I'll look more so Ring Magazine, Boxing 24, Fight News and things like that. To me, that are a little ESPN, even though they got slants and biases and things like that, to me, they still appear to be more reputable than some of those guys who seem like they have an agenda. Ty, I'm gonna put the link in the chat for you. I tried to send it to you on Facebook, but I couldn't. I don't know if that's the correct inbox information that I had. All right, so yeah, they were getting on to Roy, man. They were bugging, man. Roy was over there getting busy. At that fight right there, do you remember the Richard Hall fight?
Yeah,
of course we do.
It's probably the best we've seen, Roy. Like it's like magic, man. He beat the brakes. I was scared.
Come on, man.
Yeah, no, that was good. And then he got up.
You say I don't fight nobody. I just make them look like they nobody.
Right. So yeah, let me go ahead and keep it going, man. I ain't even gonna show that, but I like how he came out. He was over there dancing on it with Mystical, and that was a cold fight. But anyway, in that fight, which happened on May 13th, 2000, Roy, it got one of the greatest light heavyweights successfully defended his WBC belt by defeating the Jamaican southpaw Richard Hall bout at Conseco Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. All right. Now, the topic of the day, T. Sheldon, I didn't know if I was going to bring you on this early because we want to discuss this week the guys who want the smoke inside of boxing. Now, I got a top 10 list, and really it doesn't necessarily have to be in this order, but my top 3, top 4, top 5, those definitely the top 3, top 4, top 5. But if you made the list, then that's really good. In my eyes, in terms of the guys who I support and root for, just because they never really duck anybody. Vail, did you have any honorable mentions before we get into this topic?
Yeah, I had a few. So we're doing top 10, right?
Top 10, yeah.
So my honorable mentions, I had. Let me see. I had Vasily Lomachenko. Who's
he retired, man.
Yeah, he's retired, so he's honorable mention.
He ducked Tank when at the end though.
No, Tank was ducked him the whole part of his career.
Yeah.
Then you had Deontay Wilder, who is kind of on the downside, but he didn't duck smoke. He had Tyson.
Do you have Oscar De La Hoya in there too? Since you got Lomachenko who's retired, like do you got dudes back? You got
Lomachenko just retired, and he could come like 3 months ago. 3 months ago, and I got Ryan Garcia in there. Of course, Ryan Garcia. He'll be higher if he hadn't got busted for the drugs. But I mean, he was getting smoke. I mean, he got in there with Tank. He got in there with Devin Haney in the fight where people thought that Haney was gonna kill him. So,
on steroids, he get in there with Tank.
Hey, he got in there.
Clout chasing Tank, and then he gets in there with Devin on steroids. You won't smoke, but so you gonna want smoke, but you can be on PEDs. So yeah, I would want smoke. Let me fight Joshua right now. You give me some PEDs, put him in my system. I'll fight him too. Like, come on, anyway. Go ahead, keep going, sir. Yeah. Sad.
And I got AJ over there. AJ takes some hard fights. I mean, the only duck really was Deontay Wilder. So he took all the smoke except for Wilder. So
anytime you want to chime in, Sheldon, you're more than welcome to. Any other honorable mentions, Bill?
No, sir.
All right, so I had some honorable mentions as well. I don't know what's up with my boy Spence, but I put him on here. He's just been out of the ring for so long.
Yeah, longer than Lomachenko.
But he's not retired though. You see,
basically,
the fact that he's not retired, that's the reason why he's not on my list, is because when he was active, he was going for the best guys in the sport, and he talked that talk. When I heard him, when they talk about Errol, the true Spence, he always sounded like he was down, he was always humble for the rumble. Deontay Wilder without question. It's just now he's in a situation where he's rebounding back, and the opportunities probably won't be there because he don't have anything tangible for anybody to necessarily, with the exception of a name. You know, he may be more inclined to not fight certain guys now, based on the direction he's trying to go with his career. But I don't think in his heart he would be ducking anybody. It's just the pathway that they're trying to use in order to put him back in contention for a title. But when he was on his game, he wasn't ducking anybody. He was calling everybody out, Ortiz, and, you know, giving opportunities. He always went to Tyson Fury fight. So shout out to him, man. These are some of my favorite fighters. Lamar Roach, I got honorable mention because of the fact that, yeah, he took the Tank fight, and I just have to see what his next move is going to be. Now, as far as what he says and does, it seems like this is a guy that really wants to smoke with anybody, because he's talking about if he doesn't get the Tank fight, then he's looking for a Shakur fight. Now, do you hold it against him if he doesn't, you know, get the Shakur fight and he doesn't fight somebody like Mr. Gary Russell? Is that, would you consider that not wanting smoke, or is it the fact that Gary Russell, he would probably be doing him a favor by giving him a fight as opposed to, you know, getting somebody who will get him closer to another title in another weight class? I put Murtazaliev on here because nobody wants to fight him, but I got to see what his moves are moving forward. But he seems like somebody who wants to fight everybody, just don't want to fight him. That's what it looks like. I just don't know. You know what I'm saying? How he's going to move forward, you know, with the next bouts and things like that. So we'll see. All right. Anything you got to say, Shelton, as far as the guys that you know, recognize as people that you respect? You say, man, when I know he ain't ducking nobody.
Okay. So let's look at it. At 126 to 130, I got Stephen Coolboy Steph Fulton.
Okay.
He going to fight you. May not beat you, but he looking for a scrap. He trying to fight.
Mm-hmm.
At 135, I got to say right now, Shakur Stevenson. He calling out everybody.
Okay. All right. So you going by divisions, right?
Yeah, the guys that I respect. Yeah, guys that I respect.
Yeah.
Shakur Stevenson calling out everybody. He want to fight everybody. People act like they don't want to fight him. That's the way it's looking to me. I don't know what y'all see.
Yes, sir.
140.
Hey, listen, you're gonna see him on my list, but what I don't want you to do, let me see, because we're gonna do 10. So you're gonna let's stop you at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So are you at lightweight?
Yeah, I'm at super lightweight now. I'm at super lightweight.
So we're gonna pause you right now, because then that'll give us time to give our numbers. And you're at 9 already. So
yeah, I got Fulton. I got Fulton. I got Shakur Stevenson, and I got that's 2 I got right now. That's the 2 I gave you, I think.
We're gonna pause you right there. We're gonna go ahead and welcome my guy Ty Finney from in this pod, you know, in this corner podcast. Welcome to the show, good brother. How you doing?
Salute, man. Doing good, man.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you fellas came through today, man, because I'm on fumes right now, man. I was hanging and banging. Then I was supposed to get my nap in today, but my boy, he was running behind. So then I had to call some audibles, and then I ended up getting back late. And then now I'm sitting up here on fumes, bro. I'm tired as I don't know. So I'm glad you coming through. You see what we're doing right now as far as our top 10 list, as far as the guys who want all the smoke. If you want to, you can do the same thing as Shelton and run through like the divisions. You probably could start at maybe like lightweight. Like if you look at the list and be like, okay, the lightweights, the dudes who want all of the smoke, it's going to be X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to go ahead and do it like that. But do you have any guys off the top of your head that you like, man, them dudes, man, they're not turning down anything?
Yeah, let me see. If we start at lightweight, I would say, but we already know his situation. I would say Gary Russell. We already know he always just calling everybody out, but he's not really getting those fights. But like you got Roach on there. We see he's doing a lot of talking. He wants Roach, but But Gary Russell, we all just know him as being the guy on social media. He's always calling everybody out, but he's not getting those fights. So,
okay. Okay. Well, you can stop there too, because once you get the super lightweight, do you have any more lightweights that you recognize and that you would put on your list?
That Devin Haney moved up, so
okay.
But I would say Devin Haney because we know Devin Haney fights anybody. Devin Haney's got a solid resume for a guy at such a young age. So even though he's not, at 130, 135, whatever, he's one guy I would say on the top of my list. He would be the one guy. Like, look, he's fighting Brian Norman. This guy's a power puncher. This guy's a champion. He's jumping right in there with him. He's not taking those soft touches. So for me, I would say Devin Haney's definitely one of the guys who don't duck no smoke.
Gotcha. Any other lightweights?
That's all I can think of right now. Shakur, Shakur. Not on top of my head. So
okay. Well, you go ahead and look at the 140 pounders and Vail, what you can do, because they had 9. So go ahead and give me your 10 and 9. And then we'll come back to show.
Okay, my number 9.
10.
My number 10. My number 10 is we already talked about him, and I think Sheldon made some good points with Shakur Stevenson. He hasn't been able to get some of those fights. He's been calling people out. Nobody wants to. It seems like he's one of those guys that it's one thing to be afraid of getting knocked out. I think people are just afraid of being embarrassed by him, and I think that's part of what it is. And the only thing you can criticize about him when it comes to calling people out is that sometimes he may think like, hey, I deserve this. These guys are like, I think I deserve this amount of money. And sometimes you gotta, hey, I might have to take a pay cut to beat this dude up, So my number 10 is Shakur Stevenson. My number 9 is Erickson Lubin. What he's doing right now is just a testament of just a guy that wants to smoke. But also, it's like he's in a position where people look at him and they say, "Oh, he's vulnerable." If they just want to, if somebody is up and coming or just strong fighter and want to fight somebody, why not Erickson Lubin? But I think he's willing enough, and I think that's why he makes the smoke category for my number 9.
All right, best. So for me at number 10, I got Gary Antoine Russell. I don't see Gary Antoine Russell ducking anybody. Also see him calling people out. It's like, dude. He wants to get his get back, from the loss that he had. He's calling out henchins. Anybody that's willing to tangle with him, I just like the demeanor that he has and the young man that he is. He just seems like somebody who's not going to duck anybody, and he wants those opportunities. So I got to put him in there. Very solid fighter. Also at number 9, I got the young kid who's fighting Devin Haney, and that's Brian Norman Jr. Because I think that he lightweight ran boots up out of the welterweight division. And for him, a lot of people were questioning his talent and skills. But for him to fight Santoline, he was an underdog in that fight. So he went through there, captured that belt. And then the pressure that they were applying to boots. And ultimately, it looked like they were going to be on a collision course after the Sasaki fight, or at least restart negotiations after the Sasaki fight. And him wanting that, and then not even a couple of days into his win or after his win against Sasaki, he ended up accepting the opportunity to face Devin Haney, and I just think that he's somebody who talks the talk. When you listen to him, he's a straight shooter, and I just can't see this young man ducking anybody, and he hasn't shown it so far. So at number 9, I got Brian Norman Jr. What you got for us as far as the junior welterweights?
Well, I got 2 at junior welterweight.
Okay.
2 guys. I got Gary Antoine Russell. Of course, he don't duck nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And Surreal Matias. He ain't turning down nothing but his cock.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
you
sir.
want it? Get up in here. Let's get it. Win or lose. Both of them cats, Gary Antoine Russell, win or lose, they win it.
It's crazy. They probably gonna end up having to fight each other because the other dudes ain't
Exactly. Now we go up to 47. Man, I love, I got a personal relationship with this guy beat Norman. But, you know, and I'm picking him in the fight. But I got to give it to what my man said at the bottom. My man that just came on the panel. Devin Haney, man. Devin Haney jumped right up in there, man. He jumps right up in there. You got to give it to him. Now, granted, I don't like the fact that he's trying to live off them little dudes he beat up at 35 because that don't have nothing to do with 47. And my man said something about he never takes soft touches. Well, he just got a soft touch with Jose Ramirez, so he does take soft touches. But he does fight champions. I give him that. He everywhere he been, he's trying to get in there with the top guys. So Devin Haney at 47.
All right, bet. And then Ty, what you got for us?
As far as 147, man, I'm not really sure. I'll say this, even though he's not active, he don't fight anymore. I would just throw this in here as a guy to me who was one of the guys who never ducked nobody, and that was Sean Porter. I know even though he's not active right now, but at welterweight, Sean Porter to me was a guy that never ducked anybody because his resume was solid with names.
Again, y'all bringing up them old names, man. You might as well say Sugar Ray Leonard. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So,
all right, Bill, give us your what is it, 8 and 7?
Yes. My number 8 is Daniel Dubois. I mean, the guy, man, he took some hard, even after his loss, man, he took some gutsy performance against Big Baby, you know, then also jumping there with Usyk, not once, but twice, even though he lost, you know, both of them, but he went in there and he kept doing it, you know, and that's you gotta respect somebody like that, and had people even thinking that he would beat Usyk the second time. So you gotta respect someone that takes those type of risks, win or lose. So my
you know why he didn't make my top 10?
Why?
Because I don't know. Was he sick against my man Parker? Was he really sick, or was he trying to stall for another fight with Usyk? But anyway, go ahead, sir.
It's hard to justify. Hey, I'm ducking Parker because I want to fight Usyk. I mean, Usyk is away.
Yeah, it is. You got a chance to win all the belts back. You know what I mean? So, and then it's probably more money too.
And so, you got more money for the Usyk fight. Come on, Val, stop it with the garbage, man.
Yeah, but if he would have fought Parker, I'll list him higher. But
you get less money and you possibly get beat. You get less money and you possibly get beat.
Yeah.
And not get that.
Well, it was kind of more certain that he would get beat against Usyk, and he took the fight anyway.
Okay. All right. What about your number 7?
My number 7 is Arthur Bitterby. You know, the guy been around. He been taking on the best challenges at 175. Hasn't been saying he doesn't want to fight anybody. There's never been nobody said, "Oh, I don't want to fight this guy" or anything like that. He's been staying at the weight, hasn't been moving up around, so you can't really say that, oh, he's ducking somebody at 168 or cruiserweight. So he's been there. He fought Bivol, you know, even though he took a win and a loss, he got in there with him, you know. So my number 7 was Arthur Bitterby.
Yeah, my number 8 is going to be kind of questionable for some, and some people may not. I just don't gather this young man himself ducking anybody. And I know with some people, they question, well, he's taking a tune-up. He took a tune-up here. Like, those that had health issues, man. Like, that's a little bit different when you got a life-threatening health condition and you come back and take a tune-up. So my number 8 is Virgil Ortiz, man. You know, Virgil, you looking at his resume, even though he hasn't won titles, he has fought guys who were considered Madrimov. He fought him. He also fought Borchuk, a two-fisted killer with the punches. So I can't really say that this man is ducking anything. And then they made an offer to Boots Ennis in December when Boots was saying he's trying to get all the belts. And then after he got called out, that was his excuse. Then afterwards, he decided ultimately that he was going to move up in weight, but he could have had that fight back then, or it could have at least signed for the fight back then. So at number 8, I got Virgil Ortiz at that solid position of number 8. Again, that could be controversial to some because I hear like some of the chirping that some people say because they try to compare, like Boots is Pepsi and he's Coke, or he's Coke and Boots is Pepsi. It's like they always gonna have some type of thing to say about one or the other, when one person, to me in particular, is more likely to be the one who's doing the ducking as opposed to the other. Also at number 7, I got my man Bivol. Only reason I have him at number 7, but again, if you make the top 10, you good. It's just a matter. It's like straws. You know what I mean? It's so the gap between these guys is so thin that it's hard, to say who should be above another person. At least like 6, 5, 6, 7. Like all of them could be interchangeable. But with this guy right here, just the fact that he was willing to fight Better B 2 times, you got to be the top 10 if you're willing to do that. And also some of the other moves that he's made. It just never looks like he's ducking anybody. Some people would say, well, he should fight, Benavidez. And he can't fight everybody. You know what I'm saying? And he was, in line for the trilogy with Better B, but he just has surgery and whatnot. But I don't see him ducking anybody. So yeah, I got him at a solid number 7. And that's going to be my man Bivol. All right, I think it's on you, Sheldon. You moving up to the What's the weight?
So we go to 154 pounds, and at 154 pounds, to me, the guy who ain't ducking nobody.
I know you're gonna say. I know you're gonna say, Sheldon. I'm just waiting.
Murtazalia. Murtazalia.
Okay. Yeah.
Murtazalia want to fight everybody. He's sending out offers. They saying no. So
right.
And he's the champ. You know what? He's chasing people. You're supposed to be chasing the champ. So I say Murtazalia at 54. He looked like he won it all. And at 60, I don't like the guy, but I gotta give credit where credit is due. Janibek won them all. He been talking so greasy to Carlos Adames. Adames won't even respond to the dude. Janibek at 160.
But Janibek, there was a time when they were trying to offer Janibek the Triple G fight, and he wouldn't take it. But that was earlier, though. That was some years ago.
Janibek had what, 2 fights, maybe?
No, he had more.
Because he only got like 14 now.
Yeah, he had about 7 fights,
Come on, man. Would you have taken a fight with Triple G in 7 fights? That's stupid. You saw what happened to Beck the Bully when he got in there with Gabe Rosado with 7 fights. You saw what happened to him, man.
Hey.
Not a good idea. It's not a good idea.
Hey, you dare to be like Loma.
What you got, Ty? Who you got at 54 and 60? Do you have anybody?
I'll just go with 54 for now. And I know he came up short in his past couple of fights, but I'm going to just run with it. Tim Tszyu. I say that because
I should have put. Yeah, that's a good call right there.
That's what I thought Shell was going to say.
Damn, my bad, Timmy.
No, you can't say Tim Tszyu because Tim Tszyu, we all know Tim Tszyu went on a bum bashing tour and got put in the rankings.
Yeah, but he did take on. He didn't have to take on Fundora, and he did it.
He the only one fought the dude who nobody want to fight.
Yeah, he did fight Murtazalia.
You know what I'm saying?
But to Sheldon's, you could make this point, Sheldon. At that point, nobody really knew who Murtazalia was.
No, they knew because people were saying like you sit like well, he gonna get his butt whooped. A whole bunch of people were saying.
What did I I'm gonna ask? See, thank you, Will. Val, what did I tell you when that fight got signed? You remember?
No, I don't remember. Refresh my memory.
I told you he gonna beat the brakes off Tim Tszyu.
And he did. That's why I would have to. That's why I thought you was gonna say Tim Tszyu because of that. Like he didn't have to take on Murtazalia.
I'm mad at you. I do respect Tszyu.
You can say he got beat up and all that. And he's he can say he got beat up and treated whatever. But
yeah,
hey, that's like penalizing Erickson Lubin or Gay Rosado for wanting to take those rough fights. It's hard.
I can't penalize either one of them. Gabe Rosado is one of my favorites of all time. I love Gabe. Gabe can fight anybody.
Dang, Ty, man, I apologize to Tim Tszyu because he didn't make the marks. But Tim Tszyu, I don't know. Maybe it's because I want Tim Tszyu to retire. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to put him on the list, and he must find something here. He's on this list and be like, yeah, I want to. Let me get a rematch with Murtazalia to prove. Like, no,
don't
do that. You got anybody else, Ty?
Well, But since speaking of Gabe, was Gabe at 160 or was he at
At one point he was.
Gabe
He's
was
at
at 60,
168.
54, 68. He was everywhere. Gabe was everywhere.
well, since y'all just doing that, I would say him because he's one of the guys that took on all the names, even though he came up short. You can say he's a gatekeeper. He's definitely one guy that took on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I think I'm looking at more like when I put the names up there, like the dudes who are like in the top 10 in the divisions and whatnot. So that's what I missed for me, you know what I mean? But when you say these names,
winners. Just say you like winners, bro. Just say I like winners.
Yeah, it's just guys that, and the reason why, again, the reason why I'm also leaving those guys off is because I want to like kind of prop up the dudes who are ranked and then kind of separate them from the dudes who they might even be ranked higher, but they ducking. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys may be ranked lower in some cases than somebody else who's ranked higher, but you respect the dude who's ranked lower because you know that they want the smoke. You know what I mean? So I think there's a line of demarcation that we have in the sport of boxing now, where you got the popular guys and that's the other thing. And when it comes to boxing and a lot of areas of activities, is when dudes have so much support, they have so many followers and things like that, it's hard for them to lose in any way, shape, form, or fashion because the people don't want them to lose, even if they're saying something that's not true, it can't be factual. They just support them. And then that's the messed up thing. You got a lot of followers as opposed to people seeking out just the truth and understanding and things of that nature. But anyway, you got anybody else?
I'll be right back, fellas. I gotta take this call. I'll be right back.
Do you think? What you got? Anybody else time?
Well, like since I didn't name an active 147 pounder, we knew Spence was going up. I agree with you. I would just say Spence because Spence had the major belts until he had all three of the belts before he met Crawford. But still, even after an accident, he fought Danny Garcia, he fought Ugas. So, even after, being hurt like that, he still jumped in there and fought the good name. So for 147, I would say Spence.
Bet.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking this on the top of my head because like I didn't know y'all was gonna run with the subject. So I'm just thinking fast. But right now, I would say for 147 for me would definitely been Spence.
Sounds good. What about you, Vail? What's your 6 and 5?
Okay, my number 6 is Dimitri Bivol. The dude. I didn't think he would take on. Well, I can't say I didn't think he would take on Bitterby. Before the Canelo fight, I was unsure he would take on Bitterby. Once he, put Canelo in his place, I was like, oh, this fight could actually happen, and he took it. He took it. He had a close fight where some folks thought he won, and he didn't get the win, and he ran it back. So it's like you gotta respect Bivol. So my number 6 for the smoke is Bivol. My number 5. I know, Will, you don't like inactive fighters, but I had to put him on there for what he did, man. You got Errol Spence, man. The dude took on any and everybody at 147. He didn't have to take on Crawford. He could have easily moved to 154, but he did it for the sport. So you got to give him respect for that. So my number 5, Errol the True Spence.
All right, bet. So for me at number 6, I got my main man out of Brick City, which is going to be Shakur. Shakur could be higher and he could be lower. And if I would put him lower, it would be because when he beat De Los Santos, I didn't, some of the responses that he had, I didn't too much care for him when he was saying, well, won't he fight him? Won't this person fight him? No, it's like when and again, I hate to keep bringing up Floyd, but to me, Floyd is the bar in certain cases with guys who are trying to emulate him to a certain degree. So when he had close fights and things like that people were saying that he didn't look so hot and this and that, he rematched those guys. And I thought that the De Los Santos fight was one in which he could have separated himself more, with that particular fighter in a rematch. But even if he wasn't going to do that, I didn't like how he was responding, with the things that he was saying as far as, well, Tank fight him. Tank should fight him instead of him. Like, no, you can't be telling somebody else how to run their career. No, what are you going to do about, that lackluster performance? So I didn't like that. So he could be lower because of that. But he's also if you look at him throughout his career, he's always been seeking out the belts and things like that. And when I hear conversations with the Haneys or when it comes to Tank's people are avoiding him. Like they just, he's not gonna, we want to see him do something against another fighter, and what he's gonna do and all that. They do that with him. And then when I hear the Haneys, they respect him. And it's like, well, if you're gonna rank him lower, you could, point out the fact that he didn't take the 25%, which was offered for the unification matchup, or I should say the undisputed championship against Haney, as well. But all in all, I know that Shakur Stevenson, he wants smoke. Like any of those guys can get it, but it's like what you said earlier, Vale, in terms of people who are reluctant on fighting him. And I think that it's more so, it could be the embarrassment piece of it, but it's also the fact that I just know it's going to be frustrating to be trying to land shots on this guy and not being able to hit him all night because of his reflexes and things like that. And so you prefer to fight somebody that's a little bit more aesthetically pleasing to the fans, and you can build off of that as opposed to people saying that you look bad and then that your money and stuff like your stock goes down after a performance like that. But you can also always use that as an excuse nowadays against a slickster. They always say that those guys are boring and whatnot. So again, at solid number 6, I got Shakur. Again, he's kind of controversial too. I could, in retrospect, put him a little bit further back, maybe 8 or maybe 9. But I do have him at a solid number 6, just depending on how you look at it. Now, as far as this guy is concerned, I have him higher than Bivol because I think all in all, he's fought some more dangerous fights. And also, and the reason why I'm saying that, you might look at it and be like, well, he fought Canelo, he fought, I don't know, or Zerda, right? But when this dude, he fought Gosdick, who had put Superman in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really wanted to mess with Gosdick, and he was in there banging it out with him, for those belts. And then he has like Callum Smith. He has, some other guys on his resume. He was fighting Yar. Yar was still a brutal, punishing type guy at the time that he faced him. Joe Smith, you know what I'm saying? So the list goes on in terms of the dangerous guys that he's been facing throughout his career. And he's one of the guys that people don't really want to have to see. So at solid number 5, I got my main man, the Beast, Arthur Beterbiev. All right, Bill, talk to me. Or is it Ty's turn? Ty, you got a 168-pound guy?
Yeah, I know he's at 75 now, but I just got to run with the Mexican monster, David Benavidez. Like, we all knew that he wanted, Canelo, and Canelo never took that fight. He fought Anthony Durrell, that's a 2-time champion there. Fought Caleb Plant. Even though Andre moved up, you can still argue that even though Andre was one of the best, even though he never got those fights that he always wanted, that he called for, Andre was still a decent name. So to me, definitely the Mexican monster. And then of course, when he moved up to 75, he's not taking on any soft touches. He's gone, right after the name. So for me, it would be David Benavidez.
All right. What about you, Vale? What you got?
What, number 5?
Yep.
Okay. Wait a minute. I already did number 5. So I'm on number 4. So my number 4. What was that, Will? Well, my number 4 is Devin the Dream Haney. I mean, the guy been, taking on fights that some of us probably don't think he shouldn't be taking on. He did it anyway. That the only knock you can make about him is really that Shakur Stevenson situation where Shakur was popping up everywhere, But he did send Shakur offer too. So I mean, for whatever reason, that fight didn't happen when it could have. 2 guys that wanted to smoke, and they could have gotten that ring, mixed it up. But other than that, man, the dude, I mean, people criticize him, but one thing you can't criticize Haney about is the fact that he wants smoke, man. That's something you can't joke about. Anybody's willing to fight Boots, what I'm saying, at 152, like that's a gutsy move, Even before that, I think he was willing to move up to 147 and take on Boots or some of those guys there too. and he's fighting Brian Norman. So that's like a dangerous fight for him, So my number 4 is Devin Haney.
Give me a second, fellas. I'm getting an order.
Okay. I go into my number 3 then. My number 3, man. This guy, because he's at.
Oh, Bill, you on number 3 or number? Which one you do?
I just did 4. That was Devin Haney.
Okay, so are you supposed to be doing number 3 or no?
Well, we were going 2, so it's 4 then it's 3. But
right.
hey, we can switch it up, because number 1 is just number 1. So that should sit by itself.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me get in on this, man. You over there trying to do too much, man. All right, so now I got my order. I lost my headphones, so nowadays you don't have to go anywhere. So Walmart ended up bringing me. I ordered something from Walmart, and they just dropped my beats off. But anyway, anywho, speaking of beats, the guy right here who likes to put beat downs on his opponents, and that's gonna be my main man right here, David Benavidez, right? So David Benavidez, obviously the Mexican monster. He wanted Canelo. He wanted that smoke. Canelo obviously has been ducking this man. That's the one knock that I have on Canelo. But keeping the focus in on this gentleman, he fought Boo Boo Andre, who a lot of people didn't want to see. He was calling out Caleb Plant. He had a grudge match with him. A lot of people, I ain't gonna say was reluctant on facing Plant. It wasn't like that. I think Plant was taking his time to face Benavidez, but he got in a situation where he couldn't avoid it anymore. He's not a guy who shies away from opponents. I just think at that particular stage, at certain points, he was looking in other directions. Or after the Canelo fight, he was trying to get himself back prepared to face a David Benavidez. But all in all, it eventually happened. So he knocked that one, off his list. And then he fought Morrell. A lot of people thought that was a dangerous fight, which it was. He got hurt a little bit, but he's always seeking out the best opposition. When you hear him speak, he always says the right thing. He has the machismo. He has the kahunas. He says everything that you want to hear in a fighter in terms of competition. Like he's willing to face anybody. And he had a lot of, experience facing top level guys earlier in his career. When he was sparring against a lot of those guys as well. But this guy right here, Gosdick, he fought Gosdick in his first fight at 175. So again, what can you say, man? He could be higher than this because it's nothing but rave reviews when you talk about somebody like a David Benavidez when it comes to that. What you see there, the cigarette right there, yeah, he's smoking that all the way up. And then at number 4, got to go with my man Bam. Like this is an easy one right here. And Bam could be higher. And I'm going to give you a little bit of background why I got Bam Rodriguez at number 3 on my list. It was when Bam Rodriguez jumped up 2 weight classes to fight a very dangerous veteran in Carlos Cuadras back in 2022. I'm looking at the little dude. I'm like, do you know who you're facing? Like that dude just fought against Chocolatito, Estrada. Like he's giving them the business. You know what I'm saying? Or at least he's right there with them. And so when he ended up being a replacement, and he had maybe 2-3 weeks to train, I'm looking at the little dude, and he's just so calm. Like it ain't about anything. I'm going up here to handle this business. And then Robert Garcia, he was speaking so, he was speaking so highly of Bam. He's gonna do his thing and blah, 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 this and that. And I'm like, that little dude right there is going up to the face Carlos Cuadras, and then he put on a masterful performance, right? And so not on long after that, in his next fight, the one dude, I'm like, Bam, leave him alone. This dude decides to fight Sor Rumvasai, bro. You know how hard Sor Rumvasai hit for that weight class? And the little fella went up in there, and then he ended up KOing Sor Rumvasai. I want to say it was like the 8th round. Just little stuff like that. Then he goes down to get his belts, and he's just always doing the right thing. And then on top of that, he has talent galore. You know what I'm saying? He always going to show you the separation of why I'm top 10 pound for pound fighter, as opposed to this dude that I'm facing. I should be number 1, in the next few, upcoming fights. So that man right there, everything that you want in a boxer, the smoke, the skills, the charisma, everything. Bam Rodriguez is number 4 on my list. What about you, Ty? What we got?
So for me, you already mentioned 175. It's definitely going to be better be like he's saying, like even though he's an older fighter, like he never took any easy fights. Like everybody he fought was decent. Anthony Yard gave him a great fight, and he stopped Anthony Yard. He had some injuries and whatnot. Then he fought Callum Smith, and of course he had the 2 back-to-back fights with Dmitry Bivol. He won the first one, jumped right back in there and gave him a rematch. So and now he's fighting. I'm not familiar with his opponent, but he's got a decent record, like 20-something wins, 18 knockouts. So to be an older guy, and he's not taking no soft touches, man. He's taking all the smoke. So for me, it's definitely all the better beef.
I'm listening. So is that it, man? These them real females, boy, they blow your head up, bro. But I'm listening. What's that? Who was it on?
I think it's on me. So we had number 3. My number 3. Hey, you already got him on the screen, man. Bam Rodriguez. Man, because he fights at lower weight class, he could be like very overlooked. You know what I'm saying? That's actually how you determine like really hard ground like boxing fans from the others. Bam Rodriguez is everything that the casual fans who want Tank to be. You know what I'm saying? This dude's knocking everybody out and taking on the best best opposition. He just taking them out, dude. He has pound for pound skills. He's taking on fights like you said with sort of rubber size fights that you like, man, you too young. You should take the time. But he's taking them on and just beating them up, and he wants more smoke. So I'm not sure I've ever heard Rodriguez say he doesn't want anybody. And if there is, it probably has something to do with, hey, my brother can fight him. It would have been for that reason. So my number 3, Bam Rodriguez.
All right, give me that number 2, man.
My number 2, we Ty just talked about him. No, that wasn't it. I thought we talked about him earlier in this show, but it wasn't you, Ty. My apologies. David Benavidez, the dude, what I'm saying, been taking on, Andrade, Andre, when people were kind of avoiding him. You know what I'm saying? The dude, he's taking on David Morrell. The dude calling out Canelo. You know what I'm saying? He got Canelo running from him. And this dude was sitting there with Canelo's weight class at one point, just sitting there. And Canelo going to fight Bivol instead of Benavidez. Then he moving down and like, I'd rather fight Terrence Crawford than David Benavidez. Benavidez, he's now at 175. He wants that smoke with whoever at 175. You got to respect that, So my number 2 is David Benavidez.
All right, bet. Ty, talk to me, man. What you got? Where you at?
All right, I'm back, man. My bad.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So for heavyweight, for me, man, the guy that don't duck nobody is definitely Joseph Parker. And I say that because even though he came up short against the Juggernaut, he still fought a lot of names, man. He fought, he beat Deontay Wilder. We can all argue that he's one of the hardest punchers in the heavyweight division. Took on Zhilei Zhang. Older guy, but Zhilei Zhang still a dangerous guy, powerful. And then, he was on the collision course, with Daniel Dubois, but of course, situation happened. He ends up taking Martin McCauley, even though it was 2-day notice fight. McCauley was still a dangerous guy. If he was in good shape, it would probably, been an interesting fight. But to me, he definitely shouldn't have been a guy that, got that fight with, Usyk. So, but to me, Joseph Parker is definitely the guy that don't got no smoke at heavyweight.
Gotcha. Anybody else?
That's it for me for now.
Okay. Yeah, for me at number 2, I got the, undisputed heavyweight champ. You know what I mean? It could go either way for the guy who have number 1, but you can't really knock him.
Hey, Will, I think your mic's off.
So yeah, for me at number 2, I had to go with Alexander Usyk because again, it could go either way. It could be him or my guy who I have at number 1. You can't knock him. You know what I'm saying? Like once you get to this part of the pound for pound list, it's splitting hairs, man. It's you could go either way. I could have Bam number 1. You know, I could have who I have at number 1, at number 2, or number 3. But I put Usyk at a solid number 2. All I can do is just tell you the reason why he's number 2. You know what I mean? Because it wouldn't be any reason for him not to be number 1. It's kind of like 1A and 1B. Because this guy, you know, cleaned out his weight class at the cruiserweight division. The fact that he fights a lot of times in the other opponent's hometown, you know, as he's taking their belts or defending his belts against those guys. He's rematching guys if necessary. You talk about wanting all the smoke, because wanting all the smoke, part of it could be the fact that he'll bring the smoke. A lot of times in his fights, he never lets people get the momentum. And if there's ever a part of a fight where it seems like the other guy can take the momentum, then you'll see him up his ante. I've seen him do it against Joshua. I've seen him do it against Fury. I just saw him do it. Dubois, he didn't even give him a chance to, you know, think that he could mess with him. You know, so he took a different approach in that fight. But he has so many different ways, you know, to approach his business and handle his business. And he just knows all facets of the game, the movement. But I like his tenacity, though, now. It seems like he's a little bit meaner now. So like even though he's getting up there in age, it just seemed like he's on top of his game. Like, you know, so very tough to beat. But then you look at that resume. Like I say, Joshua twice, Fury twice, Dubois twice. And then he's still not done. You know, I can see him facing Parker. I don't know if he wants to, you know, give that young fella, you know, a try at him before he, you know, rides off into the sunset. I'm not sure. But I don't see him, you know, ducking anything. You know, I think if it's just the best potential fight that's out there, I'm sure that he will take it. But at a solid number 2, I got to go, you know, Alexander Usyk. Talk to me, Vale. Who you have at number 1?
My number 1 is the cat you got right here, Alexander Usyk. Man, he pretty much cleaned out the heavyweight division. Man, he went at everybody, fought Dubois twice, fought Tyson Fury twice. I mean, years ago, we couldn't even foresee him moving to heavyweight and being that successful. He was just a undisputed cruiserweight champion. That's it, you know. But he exceeded expectations, you know, and that's a gutsy move, you know. So that's why I got Alexander Usyk as number 1.
All right, so for me at number 1, who you think I got number 1?
I know how you got number. You probably did this all for him, but fair play though. Hey, he deserved it though.
I'm asking, who do you think is number 1?
Oh, you got Mr. Dream, man.
That's what
you gotta be number 1 goat for the smoke, man.
Now you push goat for the smoke. That's a little bit too much, man.
Right now, at today, this afternoon,
Today's
you know,
smoke,
August 17th. Okay, so he's like a chimney. You know what I'm saying? He like one of them slow cooker. You know what I mean? Like them grills. That's Devin. And the reason why I gotta go ahead and give him this praise is because of the fellas. Let me go through his career, man. Throughout his career, he's been, even when it comes to the ring wars, right? He's had, you know, sparring sessions with Tank at an early age. You know what I mean? Like just trying to get opportunities to rub elbows with some of those guys who were supposed to be all this and all that. Even back when he was fighting in the doghouse, you know, in Mayweather Gym, you know, so you had that part of it. And then once he gets to his career, he was one of those guys that they were fast tracking. And again, when you hear him, he always trying to elevate and do more or get more or fight better opposition, you know, on, you know, every step of the way. Like he's progressing. You know, the power wasn't necessarily there, but as far as just him seeking out the best opposition, especially when it came to his peers. Now, you could say Teofimo, was there too when he fought Loma, but also you got to take into consideration the opportunities that were given to certain guys over others. Like a lot of times, Devin was avoided early on in his career, and so when he was coming up, when he started to really up the ante with his opposition, was with the Gamboa fight. Now, Gamboa was long in the tooth, but I'm just saying, like after that fight, then he goes up there to face Jorge Linares. I think he learned a lot in a Linares fight, but it kind of backfired again when he fought against Ryan Garcia. But regardless of that, Linares was a dangerous guy to face at that stage of his career. Jose Diaz, or I say Joseph Diaz, Jojo Diaz, that was a really good fight. That was when Jojo still was on his game to a certain degree. Being avoided. Loma didn't want to have to mess with Devin Haney. He didn't want to have to do it, but then it got to a point where he did take on the opportunity because Devin eventually had to sign a dang on contract where I got to go to Sydney, Australia 2 times. If I beat you, I got to go back. And then I'm already having trouble making weight. And then on top of that, it was other stipulations that they made as far as would he be paid and all of this type of stuff. It was a crazy contract that they created. But in order to get the opportunity to get the belts, he decided to go ahead and fight over, and I should say Melbourne, Australia. Once he got the belts, that's when Lomachenko was willing to face him. A lot of people didn't want to face Lomachenko. Even at that time in 2023, a lot of people still really didn't want that. He could have easily moved up already because he was having more and more difficulty making weight. And I want to say that fight was during Ramadan too, or at least the bulk of the training was during that time. They made it very difficult and challenging for this kid. And he still decided to fight who Vail considers top 5 pound for pound all-time southpaw in Vasil Lomachenko.
Hey, I don't no longer.
Then after that, instead of just what your guys, who you guys keep making excuses for, Boots Ennis, he's going up in weight. He needs a tune-up against a guy we've never heard of before. His first fight is going against Regis Prograis, who at the time was very dangerous in most people's eyes. It's like, no, he's going to get clocked and he's going to get knocked out. And then he put on a master class. Now he wanted Tank. All this time he wants Tank. Like he's trying to get Tank in the ring. I stay around, this and that. Tank won't mess with him. And so again, he ends up allowing, this is how much the man won't smoke. Fighting Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is overweight. He's still making weight. All of the stuff that was going on, he still allowed the fight to take place. Now, it didn't work out in his favor, but that just shows you that he won't smoke. Now, some people that say, well, you don't take tuna. Jose Carlos Ramirez is a tuna. No, at that particular stage, that's still a formidable opponent, especially coming off of a Ryan Garcia fight. Very formidable opponent. A 2-time world champion. That's not a tune-up or anything like that. That's not a soft touch or anything like that. But he goes in there, wins basically 10 rounds to 2, 11 rounds to 1. And then after that, all of the people still talking crazy about him. He's a runner. He's this and that. He's not going to fight him. Also, he's trying to get – the man has a list of like 10 people. You don't want it? Okay, then I'm going to go to the next person. You don't want it? I'm going to the next person. All of these dudes are trying to figure out a way not to fight him for whatever reason. Teofimo Lopez offered the highest payday in his career, turns it down. Tank Davis don't want any parts of that. Turn it down. Again, Boots Ennis. He wants to fight him. He'll fight him at 150. Boots want to fight at 152. Can't make that fight. Keep going down. Then Brian Norman Jr. says, I'll be your Huckleberry. We can go ahead and get busy. Another guy who's in my top 10. So Devin Haney, without a shadow of a doubt, to me, based on all of the things that he's had to overcome throughout his career and still being that model smoker, I have to put him at number 1, man. Matter of fact, it ain't even a question at this particular point. Anything you guys have to say before we actually get off into our topic? That was a long introductory topic, but I think it was a topic that needed to be had because you got so much ducking that's going on in the sport. Anything else you have to say before we get off into what we saw yesterday?
No,
You
let's
good?
just get through this stuff a little. Yeah, no, I'm good. Let's just get through this stuff a little quicker. That's,
Slava Ukraine. Okay. What does that mean? You know what that means, Bill? You just saying it's just Slavic language. But anyway, we'll figure it out.
I know.
We'll figure it out, man. Let's go ahead and get busy. I'm starting to get myself back together, man, after that long night. All right. Make sure if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button on our channel as well as Ty's channel. I think Ty's information is inside the chat. Again, Baddest Boxing Podcast. We're gonna go ahead and get busy because yesterday, Vale, did you see all of the fights? Did you fellas see all of the fights yesterday? You know what I'm saying?
No, I
like,
saw the Thurman fight.
Okay, you didn't see Herkovich?
No, I didn't see Herkovich. I wasn't at home, so I had to go back and check that stuff out.
You got to get you an IPTV, man. You can go ahead, have your phone, iPad. You can be moving around. Matter of fact, June 1st, 2019, I almost broke up with my girlfriend at the time because we went to a party, and that day, that was when Joshua was fighting Ruiz. And then I'm sitting over there. We supposed to be out there dancing. Next thing I know, I'm looking at Ruiz and I'm knocking him down. I'm like, dang, I can't. I'm sitting over there on my phone watching the dang old fight on the zone. You understand what I'm saying? That What's was supposed to fight that day too. My man, Big Baby was supposed to actually be in that fight, but it was Ruiz. But it tripped me out. But again, get your IPTV, man.
Yes,
you know, matter of fact,
drug test.
Yeah, when he failed the drug test. You know, June 1st, speaking of that, I remember on June 1st also, that was the same day that Holyfield beat Rockmont. Because the week after that was June 8th. That was when Lennox Lewis fought Mike Tyson the week after in Memphis. And the only reason I know that day so well is because the day after, me and my girl at the time, when he had that big, huge lump on his head. And the reason why I know June 1st, 2002 so well is because earlier that day, me and my girl at the time, we went to Tony Roma's. And so she introduced me to that. But the day after, we left and we were driving back to Mississippi. We were going to Jackson, Mississippi. And that was at night. She had to be back because she was a cheerleader for the Cowboys, but she had to take something home and come back. But that night we were on highway, I want to say it's 20. We're on highway 20. And she was following me because she had a whole bunch of stuff in her car. I had some of her stuff in the other car. So when she following me in the back, she just veers off the road and she just starts spinning. Like I'm saying, this is the highway. Like you're going 60 something miles an hour and she just went off the road. And then she was just doing donuts. But the road is like it's a whole bunch of like grass, like high grass up in there. She could have like easily ran off a bridge or anything. And luckily it was just in that patch in that area. But that was June 2nd, 2002. Yep. But anyway, that's just something to consider. Yesterday, Vale, what did you think about the young man's performance? He was a wrecking ball against Dillian White. The fight lasted not even 2 minutes. He put them paws on Dillian, hitting with a right hand. Well, the left hand, kind of got him dizzy, but the right hand, this combobulated him. What did you think about the performance, though?
I think Atama did the right thing. He went at White and did not stop. Like he went and hurt him early. And showed that, look, I can hurt you. And I think that was important because if you give Dillian White too much confidence, Dillian White is one of those fighters that you can't really detour him like as a fight go on. Let's say he's getting beat up or whatever. I mean, he's still like he's not going to give up on himself, which means he's going to still try to catch you, and he's still dangerous. And I think Atama did the right thing by just wiping White out. I mean, he was going out with so many combinations, and I think that last shot, I think it was a southpaw right. It's put White out, and I was kind of like, man, I'd rather be like this than White take a sustained beating too. So I think that's the good thing. But it was a good performance by Atama, and plus Atama, he's more to me like a first to 2 round type of knockout guy. Like as the later the fight goes on, sometimes he kind of slows down a little bit. So I think he's still gonna have to address that issue. But I think against Dillian White, he did the right thing.
Okay, well, Ty, what did you see?
Yeah, I seen a young guy beat an old timer. Like, to be honest, a lot of people may not agree with this, but I think everybody's happy with Atama's performance. But I think he's getting just a little too much credit. And I say this because what he did, we've already seen this happen to Dillian White. Okay, Otama got him out there in the first round. Okay, this is an older Dillian Whyte. Now, don't get me wrong, he was in the best shape I ever seen him in. But like Otama did the right thing, man. This is the heavyweight division, man. This is the biggest division in boxing. And you coming out there in the first round, you're gonna have a lot of energy. So you're gonna be letting them hands go. So like Otama came out, guns blazing, just throwing shot at the shot combination, right? He just got caught, and he seemed like he just started to go in defensive mode. Like he wasn't really coming forward. He was getting caught. Then, he backed him to the ropes. Then Otama just, finished the job. Right, went down. And as you can see, when he was getting back up, he kind of staggered into the turnbuckle. So, I mean, it was the first round. I think the ref could have maybe just, just gave him a count and let him come out. I think he was still got finished. But congrats to Otama, man. But I don't think people should be giving him this much praise because, like I said, what happened is what we already seen this happen to Dillian Whyte twice before. Dillian Whyte doesn't have the best chin. He was put out cold by Povetkin. He was stopped by, Tyson Fury. So, but hats off to Otama. I still think he's one of the most promising upcoming heavyweights in the division for sure.
You're throwing me off, Ty. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you want to give him credit or if you want to like.
Well, I give him 100% credit, but I just still think that, like I said, we've seen this happen to Whyte twice already, so it's nothing new. It's nothing new. He just got stopped earlier in the first round, and I do think Whyte from this point. I do think he may want to really consider retirement. I think he's still got a few fights left in him, but like after getting in that kind of shape and being stopped in the first round, I think he might really want to consider retirement. But being in shape doesn't mean that you're going to have the best chin. Take Kell Brook and Terrence Crawford. Kell Brook was in crazy shape for that fight, but he still got blown out. So it's all about, being defensively responsible. So, yeah, hats off to Otama, man. He got the job done, did it in the first round. So let's see what happens next for him.
Bebo says that Whyte looked like he's 60 years old. Well, I would say this. First I want to point out we can't just overly give Bud Crawford credit on this show. You see, we don't do that here.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
When Crawford was fighting Kell Brook, you talking about somebody that looked 60. He looked like he was 65. You know what I'm saying? About to go ahead and get his Social Security. You know what I'm saying? His neck was all old like George Burns. You know what I'm saying? He might as well just fought him. You see. But it's all good, man. And I think that it's a little bit different when you come to like a weight class like 147 pounds and you haven't fought in that weight class in 4 years, and then somebody's calling you out, out of all the smoke that's at 147 pounds, you want to fight somebody who hadn't fought in a weight class in 4 years. That's shame on you. That's a low down dirty shame right there. So we want to point that out first. And then secondly, when it comes to this fight, I do want to give this young man praise because, although you right in the sense that Whyte kind of he was a shell of himself. It's one thing for that to be prevalent. It's a whole nother thing to put the old dog out of his misery. And that's exactly what the young man did. The things that I liked about his performance was that he didn't seem overly nervous, being that this was one of the biggest events, or if not the biggest event that he has participated in. So the lights were not too big. The other thing that I liked about it is when I'm listening to him in the press conferences, the things that he's saying. He talks and it's not made up. It's not a facade. He says that people dream about, having these big events, or they dream about making this type of money. He said, I don't feel like myself if I don't fight. He said, I've been fighting since I was 9 years old, and that's over half my life. That's what I've been doing every day. He was like, if I don't fight, then I just don't feel right. And that's the type of thing that I like in a person. Like, it's like if you are an artist, if you're a rapper, basketball player, that you will be doing that anyway. Like it ain't the fact that I'm a professional and I get paid to do it, and that's why I do it. If I wasn't getting paid, I'd still be doing this. So I like that about me. And that's a lost type of quality in individuals nowadays. So that might take them a long way. But shout out to the kid, man. What I saw yesterday was somebody who's very fast. Those hands gonna be, very, very concerning for any heavyweight that he faces. It's just a matter of trying to get him to deep waters, and who will be able to do that is going to be the question to be answered. And then what will happen once he gets to deep waters? Will he still have like the same quickness, the same reflexes, so on and so forth? One thing that you have to be leery of is we still haven't seen him his chin check. And that was something that they were asking him in the press conference. And how will he respond if he gets hit by one of those big heavyweights, with a clean shot on the kisser? So that's yet to be determined, and we shall see. But right now, where he is, as young as he is, I like what I see, and I like his prospects moving forward. They said that he's going to fight somebody in the top 10 in his next, outing. Who would you like to see him face? Who are some of the guys you would like to see him face, Lavelle?
I just like to see him take a step up. I mean, we already seen him fight a Dillian White, so there's no need to fight somebody like a Derek Chisora. So,
no, he might need to fight somebody like because Chisora isn't as crazy as it is. He's not as worn out. Like you ain't just gonna hit him on the head and he's gonna be done. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have to do something to him, and he's durable. So he might be somebody that can take him into deep waters to see how he's going to respond to it.
Yeah, but I'll put him in there. Let me see.
You might want to put him in there with Chisora first. You know what I'm saying? Because again, and the reason why I say that, even though he'll whoop Chisora, he should, but Chisora's still tricky. He's still got those vet moves that he does, and then also you can get some rounds in.
I agree with Bebop Jones, man. Put him in there with Jelly Jong, man. Old Jane.
So this is what
get that chin check to see if that chin work.
Let me talk to you, Ty. These guys right here. So in other words, what you're doing a Roy Jones. You really want to see him like ill prepared.
No, he's not ill prepared. That's preparing him for the
upper. What's the biggest knock that you say that he has? That you see so far?
That he's a first round guy.
So if he faced Jelly Jong's, what's his biggest weakness? There's two that he had.
He'll fade. But at least it's going to take 5 rounds before he do that.
Right, and he's slow. So conceivably, he may do Jong the same way, or he may be in a situation where, like I said, when I look at the kid, I would want him to fight somebody who's going to be durable enough where they're going to extend him some rounds against at least a quality opponent, not somebody that's necessarily the highest upper echelon. Because you might face somebody who's upper echelon, but they still might get smoked early because they got some deficiency somewhere else. At least when I see Chisora, I don't see him getting wiped out the gate like that, because Chisora is going to be throwing those wild winging shots, and he knows how to tie up and all of that. And he knows how to be awkward and clumsy enough to survive when things get shaky. So I can see it extending, but how are you going to respond once that happens? And then also, when you overcome that, at least you've experienced that before. That's what I would like to see. What about you, Ty? They trying to get this man, upset.
I agree with you in the Derek Chisora, and I was going to throw him out there as a heavyweight who don't duck no smoke, but I know he's trying to keep it top 10. Because Chisora's
ain't talking about smoke.
Yeah. Like he's like, you can say he's a journeyman. He's got a lot of losses, but he's definitely one guy who don't duck nobody. Like if you looked at Chisora's last 3 fights, Oda Wale, Joe George, Jared Washington, he won all of them. So I think that's a step. That can be a good step for him. Like like you said, he just beat a quality guy in White. But I think Caballo would be a fight. That could be like, you could say a fight of the year candidate between 2 undefeated heavyweights. So
Worley,
Caballo,
Fabio Worley.
Fabio Worley's good too, but I was saying the guy number 3, if I'm saying his name right, Caballo.
Oh, that's what it's. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like you. Whoo.
That might be. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That could be a fight of the year candidate. I don't know if his team wants to go in that direction, but like I said, he just got a name out in White in the first round. So credit to him. But it just
Take
all
that
depends on
smoke.
what his team want to do.
Yeah, get that smoke. Take that smoke. It's like you know, see David Stewart not fighting. What's my man name? Ike Abuichi. You know what I'm saying? Get the smoke early.
Wait, and Val, you said like you'd like to see him fight what Zhang Zhang. Kabaya
Yeah.
just beat Zhang.
Right. Well, he can.
He's an older guy. I mean, he's dangerous, but he's older. I don't think he got many miles on him. But Kabaya just stopped him. So why not throw him in there with the winner of that fight? And Kabaya's the one who came out on
The
top.
reason why you don't want to throw him in because you don't want to ruin him early.
True.
He's only 20,
True.
21. This man, give the man. Let's pump our brakes here and don't listen to this. You know, team. Don't listen to this.
If he don't need to be, if he don't want to be ruined, he shouldn't be fighting on TV. Let somebody who won't smoke fight on TV. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think that's so. Don't fight on TV, even though people want to see you on TV. So don't fight on TV.
No, fight on TV. People want to see you on TV fight competition. They don't want to see you fight.
They watched them yesterday.
You know?
What do you mean? They watched them yesterday.
You already survived that easy. So why would you? It's time to step up.
So the TV thing. So we are in a free market. So if people are willing to watch whoever it is that you fight, that's the reason why I told you I never had a problem with what Tank is doing because people want to see him. My problem is when you say that you are pound for pound or you're saying that you're the best and you're not fighting the best. That's the only issue I have. But if people want to see you, there's nothing I can do about that other than applaud you and wish the best for you. And as far as your finances are concerned, that's it. Now, as far as this kid is concerned, in terms of prepping him in an orderly fashion, you don't want to have an arrested development because you're sitting up here making the wrong choices. Yes, if I saw the kid fight somebody that's going to extend him to the 5th round, 6th round, 7th round, and he's still, handling his business, working a plan, and then he's setting his prey up to take him out a little bit later. So what you basically doing, if you're saying that this kid who's starting to knock these dudes out in the 1st round, what you might end up doing is you might end up Berlanga in him. You know what I'm saying? Where you had all these 1st round knockouts. Now you fighting dudes who are durable and you not really, cut from that cloth because you never had to set up your prey in order to take him out a little bit later with just a durable guy who may not be an A-level fighter. He might be a B- or a C+, but he's durable and he's tricky. And so you learn it from those experiences. And once you do that, I forgot the guy that Roy Jones faced that he fought that people finally was like, oh, okay, he beat him. And then he was able to build off of that because Roy was just toying with everybody so much. He toyed with him, but at the same time, he just couldn't take him out as easy because the dude was durable and tricky. I just want to see him fight somebody like that. Dylan just didn't pose that because Dylan is washed up. Anytime you hit him on top of the head or something like that, he's not, his punch resistance is gone. That's not Chisora's problem. So when he got Chisora, man, don't listen to these dudes. Go ahead and fight. He can fight Anthony Joshua if you get the opportunity there because he has whooped Anthony Joshua. But anyway, let's keep it going. Let's keep it moving, man. But don't listen to them fellas. I don't know what y'all must got a UK anti-UK or something.
Oh no, man. We can go back and listen to all these names.
That's what I'm saying, man. Yeah, you can try this kid right here, like he's a breath of fresh air. You trying to put him up in there with some dudes who might derail him, man. But anyway, man, take on what about? I mean, I can see a Herkovich fight.
Yeah, that's a good
fight.
Yeah,
we got to talk about that one, man. If y'all seen it, that was the fight that had me glued, man. Like that's the only one I really caught.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me because I didn't get a chance. I saw the highlights. I saw round 8, I believe, where Herkovich dropped him, and then dude got back up. Like he was like, "No, man, I'm coming back." Mm-hmm. He had that look on his face, and then they just started going to war. That was like round of the year, but I didn't see the whole thing. Talk to me. What did you see in that fight?
And it was a good fight. But to me, David, like, he had some moments in the fight. I think this is what kind of set him back. He had some moments in the fight where he could have took advantage. So, 2nd round, he puts a bad cut on Herkovich. bad cut. Now Hergovich got all this blood pouring out of his eye. Like, to me, David should have been like a vampire ready to go in for the kill, finish this guy off. But he just didn't let his hands go. He was just throwing one shot, 2 shots, and Hergovich just kept giving it all he has, just throwing shot after shot. And I think what it was, he might have been afraid of Hergovich's size, that reach. And then in the 3rd round, he could have did in the 3rd round what he did in the 8th. He caught Hergovich with like a big left hook and stunned Hergovich. And you can see Hergovich, you can see he felt it and he backed up, but he didn't finish the job and just letting them hands go and finish off with a combination. He waited to round 8 to do that after he gets dropped. Now, why not in the 2nd round, when you're still full of energy? So I didn't get what David was doing, in certain rounds in that fight. But like I said, I just think it was Hergovich's size, his reach. That might have just been too much for him. You could see his body language. Like, I think in the 9th round or 10th round, he was done, man. He was exhausted. So I agree with the decision. Hergovich definitely got it. But to me, David just had some moments in the fight where he could took advantage and he just didn't. So, but hats off to Hergovich. Good win for him, off that, Dubois loss. So let's just see what happens in the future for him.
Yeah. So, did you know his opponent prior to, is it Adelaide? Did you know him before the fight?
Yeah, I know him before the fight. I haven't seen too much of him, but I've seen him a few times, I believe.
What did you think of his chances going into the fight?
Now, I didn't give him a shot at beating Hergovich, but but like I said, man, he's decent. He's decent. Like, consider what Dubois did to him. Dubois put a hurting on Hergovich. So I think Hergovich could have came in that fight with some wear and tear. But like I said, his size was just too much for him. Like I said, Hergovich was just throwing shot after shot. He wasn't letting up. And I think that's David's problem was he was just throwing one shot, not following up with no combinations, just one twos, not, what I'm saying? So to me, his game plan wasn't great, man. He wasn't active enough. So, but yeah, I said Hergovich got the job done. I just wish like David took advantage of those opportunities that he had to seriously hurt Hergovich, but he didn't. Like I said, he did it in the 8th round, but he should have did it earlier in the 2nd round and the 3rd round. Why wait till the almost at the end of the fight to do that?
Yes, sir. What about you, Val? You got any thoughts? I know you didn't see the fight, but just Hergovich in general. What would you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate Hergovich's skill level in terms of what you've seen so far?
I think Hergovich is skilled enough to get it done. It's just that he's in a particular era. I just want to see him fight. Even this fight, if y'all seeing how close it was, I would want to see how he does it better against, more upper echelon competition. Yeah.
You kind of seen it. You seen him fight Jelly Jong, and you saw him fight against who was Dubois. You know what I'm saying? I just think with him, he's like a solid 7. And to me, I think at this particular stage, if I was going to face anybody with a name that is kind of, I wouldn't say dangerous, but somebody who has the potential or viewed as somebody who has the potential to beat him. I'm saying like what others would think. I just think that with Hergovich, he's missing a gear. He has talent. And just like when you saw in the 8th round, when he put his punches together, he can do some damage. It's just he does it so few and far in between. And it's a certain gear that he rarely gets to. He can get there. It's just being motivated and pushed. And I just don't think that it's in him to be motivated like that to put on a performance. It just seemed like he's out there fighting, but he's not a killer or anything like that, And so when you have somebody who has a little bit more pizzazz, a little bit more special effects, then they'll give him fits, each and every time. He'll put up I don't even say put up a fight, but he'll be durable and whatnot. But he's always going to be missing that one little gear. It's like there's something that's just missing there with Hergovich. And that's every time I watch him, that's the frustrating thing about it, because dude could really be a good fighter if he just had that next gear that he can go to. But like I said, what I saw, That was a round of the year as far as round 8. Also, you guys have any thoughts on Ball surviving Goodman's late round surge? That fight was pretty close based on what I saw. I was kind of cleaning up a little bit, watching it, and I go ahead and do something else because I'm gonna be honest with you, that was just like some little blokes from the UK, man. That's what it looked like to me. Yeah, you fight somebody who a little bit better, they're gonna get smoked. But what did you guys see? You guys enjoy your UK fights that take place on around 5 o'clock.
Nick Ball is an entertaining fighter, but he's pretty much limited. And it's like, even when you look at, I saw clips of this fight, right? And even when you look at Sam Goodman is not like a large featherweight, but he looks so larger than Nick Ball. So you gotta be concerned when Nick Ball start fighting these bigger. Even as we look at somebody who moved up like Fulton would dwarf Ball. Even a new way moving up will be bigger than Ball. So Ball is kind of an undersized featherweight who takes a lot of punishment to get on the inside. So, I mean, his prime is right now, and he's gonna burn out pretty fast. So he should right now he should maximize it while he can.
Do you think that he can win one of those other belts?
I mean, he already has a belt. Well, he can do some damage.
One of the other belts is what I'm saying. So,
I think the champions are a little weaker. I don't think they're like, top-notch champions. So I think he can win the other belts. It's just that I wouldn't be surprised if he got beaten because he just looks beatable. It's like Emmanuel Navarrete, even though Navarrete is like this large guy who kept moving up. You know what I'm saying? Navarrete always looked like he was going to get beat eventually, He just been getting by, which is not a bad thing. You maximize it and you overachieving. But I think Nick Ball is probably a bigger overachiever, and I think eventually he's gonna, he's gonna burn out.
What about you, Ty? Did you see the fight yesterday?
Nah, I didn't see it. But I remember congrats to Ball on winning. I just remember his fight vividly with Raymond Ford. To me, that was a good scrap.
Raymond Ford fought yesterday too.
Yeah, he fought in there. I saw parts of it. I didn't have like my full attention, but yeah, he came out with the victory. So congrats to him. Yes,
sir. Yeah, I'm not gonna speak anymore on this right here. I know Vail, that's something he wanted to address. So I gave Vail what he was asking for. Now, it's no predictions or anything like that, fellas. We did have some news to discuss. If you haven't done so already, make sure you like, subscribe, please. Again, our channel, Ty's channel, in this corner podcast. Also hit that like and sub for them. Vail, we both got 1 point yesterday. I think he's still up 1 point over me, 1 or 2 points. We'll go over that when we have time, one of these eps and whatnot. But let's start off. So earlier this week, we got word that Keith Thurman and Sebastian Fundora verbally agree to an October 18th Las Vegas matchup. What are you guys' thoughts on this matchup between the Towering Inferno and Keith one-time Thurman?
As I stated in our chat, I mean, it's a decent fight, but I prefer, let's say, Fundora against Murderz Aliev and Thurman against Erickson Lubin. I would prefer that matchup better. But I mean, think about it. I mean, Thurman is 5'7". He's even shorter than Tim Tszyu, so it's gonna be an interesting look. You know what I'm saying? Interesting look for a guy that's moving up from welterweight that had troubles with welterweight, but pretty much he's sized as a welterweight with it, and Keith Thurman doesn't have a long reach neither. So it's gonna be interesting in this fight, and he's been inactive. Like we talk about Ortiz inactive. Thurman's been inactive for now. He had a fight, but he hasn't really been going a bunch of rounds in years. So I mean, this is gonna be a Fundora beatdown. Thurman's gonna survive as long as them legs can take him. It's gonna be a Thurman. It's gonna be a Fundora beatdown.
Yeah, for me, I like the fight, but like Val just made a point. Thurman, you can argue Thurman was the man at one point, but you're talking about like a decade ago, man. Like where he was on a nice run. He had the Fight of the Year candidate with Porter, but man, this is a new weight division. He hasn't had that many fights. He came back, had a stoppage. I didn't know the guy that he stopped. Fundora's been active. He's got the reach. You know, he can fight on the inside with you. He can fight on the outside a bit. So I think Thurman, like his legs is just at this point in his career, his legs not gonna be the same. Like fighting a guy this tall, you know what I'm saying? So I got Fundora winning by decision, but I think Thurman will have his moments in certain rounds, like especially if he can get to that body. Like we seen what Brian Mendoza did to Fundora, clipped him with a big shot. So I can see Thurman try to go to his body, but I just see Thurman using his footwork, trying to stay away from those long arms, but Fundora just trying to make it an inside fight. I see Fundora coming out with a decision.
Yeah, you don't think he's gonna smoke, Keith?
Nah, I don't see a stoppage, man. I like I said, I see this Thurman just moving too much, and I see Fundora trying to like cut the ring off. I see Thurman just moving way too much, but I think Fundora will make it a dirty fight. And Thurman, don't get it wrong, Thurman, he can trade with you. He likes to bang with you too. But with a guy in this weight class with this long arms, I can't see him doing that, for a whole 12 rounds. So I think Thurman's gonna be very uncomfortable in this fight. So I got Fundora by decision.
I get like Fundora from a financial standpoint, it might be a good bout for him, but I just the optics of it. You're the towering inferno. You got a unification matchup right there. You got a guy who really nobody wants to fight. It's just a bad look. Like I say, optically, like from an optic standpoint, you facing a smaller guy who's coming up in weight. Well, he got one fight at 147, but he's not gonna, like you say, he's gonna tower over the dude. Been off for so long, and you got that beast over there, and then and this is coming off of the Tim Tszyu rematch. And in addition to the Tim Tszyu rematch, remember, Tim Tszyu lost to Backroom. So if Tim Tszyu lost to Backroom, wouldn't it behoove you to face Backroom as opposed to giving Tim Tszyu a rematch? Wouldn't you fight the guy that whooped him too? So again, it just doesn't make sense from a logical standpoint in terms of competition, and that's the problem that I have with this. And then I would prefer, to be honest with you, and I don't think that like at this particular point in his career, I think they're moving him just slightly a little bit too fast. I would even prefer the Xander fight over this because I'm just this guy's old, man. I don't see Keith Thurman being able to even reach him enough to be able to one-time him. You know what I'm saying? It's no avenue for victory against somebody that's so long and so tall and so much bigger than you that to me, it's just a waste of time. You know what I mean? When they said that Virgil Ortiz and Keith Thurman was a potential matchup, I like that one better because Virgil was coming off an injury and he's not a titleist. And so that made more sense. Or a Keith Thurman in boots. That makes more sense. If he wants him a tune-up, then he fights somebody that's a little bit crafty, getting adjusted to 154, and then, handling business like that. I like that better than a Sebastian Fundora fight. To me, it just makes no sense. But it just look like PBC. I mean, what are they gonna do next? Again, speaking of Sugar Ray Leonard, they're gonna I saw Sugar Ray doing a little combination. He looked kind of fast for his age. Are they gonna bring him out of retirement? Face Fundora next? Who knows, man? But this is getting more and more ridiculous every time I look up. Now, we talked about the young fella yesterday, last week, I should say, Boost Ennis. He has a return matchup October 11th against Yusuma Lima. Are you guys excited about this fight that's going to take place at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, October 11th?
Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
Okay.
I'm like, Boost don't help his case at all, man. Like, he don't help his case at all. If you let's say if you were in talks to fight a Brian Norman, and you move up to 154, you should be fighting somebody. I ain't gonna say just immediately go into a championship fight, but at least somebody that's got a chance, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like another Karen. I'm like, and it has me concerned. Like, what do his people believe something about him, or they see something in him that they have to, you know, protect him somehow, or he needs something to work on somehow? And that's the part that's kind of concerning to me. But no, I'm not excited about this one.
Okay, can you give me a little bit more, sir, as far as what do you think about Boots, man? Like again, Lima, have you seen him before? Have you
I've
seen
not
this guy?
seen Lima. I don't know who Lima is. I don't know why.
Who would you have preferred Boots to face as opposed to facing Lima? Like what would be something that,
Well,
for your side?
me personally, Virgil Ortiz. I'm saying that fight. Look, we could say it's too early, whatever. They're like in their mid to late 20s now, and this fight been talked about for 4 years. At this point, two fighters like that should have already sized each
Sound like
other up.
realistically, he's not
No,
gonna
that's
fight.
realistically. Yeah, to me, a fight like that, that's the problem. We thinking in terms of what realistic. That fight should be realistically. It should be realistic. It shouldn't be no reason why a fight like that should not happen. When Tito Trinidad moved up and fought Fernando Vargas.
Right, he moved up and fought Fernando. But again, if you know the history, they offered Boots a fight in December. He wasn't taking a fight in December. Already, it's on record of them saying that they're going to take a tune-up or two before they fight for a belt. That's already understood. This guy, right? I don't think anybody will say, if they aren't just glazing Boots, that this is not a fight that people want to see for, because one, they don't know the guy, and if you did look at some of his footage, he looks slow. The only thing in his favor is that he used to fight at 160 a couple times, so he may be a little bit more durable. But as far as the skill level, he just doesn't. He looks like a C plus level fighter at best. And then also for Boots to say, I'm just trying to give y'all impressive performance, just trying to look good. Yeah, you'll look good against dudes that are stiff, dudes who have no movement. So my question is more so understanding that people don't want to see no dang on Yasima Lima, and knowing that he wouldn't go into a Virgil fight, who would be more palatable? Who would be more somebody that he could justify fighting if that's the direction that he's going to go, as opposed to Lima? Ty, I'm going to talk to you. I don't think Vel is understanding what I'm saying. What do you think?
I would say this name, but he's already got a fight with Virgil. So I would say Erison Lubin. I think that would be
you talking now. Yeah, I can see that, right? That would make sense. Yeah. So, who is Lubin fighting?
Murder's Aliev, right? Well, he was fighting Murder's Aliev. I think
Bill doesn't keep up with the news during the week. It's a lot going on. But who are you saying that he's fighting, Ty? Because we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, Lubison's fighting Virgil.
Okay, so now that before we even get to that, because I got something on that. This fight right here, it all of this makes no sense, because what is this supposed to mean? Is chess not checkers? What is that supposed to mean?
Yeah, I'll say this. I think. Okay, we know Boots just came off, beat Stanionis, got himself another belt. Now he's going up to 154. I think it's just Eddie Hearn just on business. He's not I think this is just a business move by Eddie Hearn. It's going to be in Boots' hometown. It's going to sell out because it's in his hometown. A lot of people going to show up, you know what I'm saying? And I think Boots is going to put on a spectacular performance, blow this guy out. Everybody's going to praise Boots. I think it's just a business move. If Boots looks good, gets a knockout, then Eddie Hearn's going to try to make some serious moves. I think this is just the Eddie Hearn move, testing Boots out at 154. I don't think Eddie Hearn wants to throw him in there with a monster. Like we seen what happened when Boots fought in his hometown against Karen. Everybody thought Boots was going to blow Karen out, but what happened? Karen gave him a fight. You know what I mean? Boots didn't look himself in that fight. So I can't see Eddie Hearn giving Boots a serious threat in his hometown. That's probably going to derail his career, give him a first loss. So I think this is just a business move by Eddie Hearn. That's why I'm saying this is chestnut checkers. It's a business move.
So Boots is not that dude then. If you have those type of concerns, those type of apprehensions about somebody who I remember about 2 years ago, he said that he wanted all the names. I want Spence. I want Crawford. I want all of the names. Now it seems, sir, like once certain names start answering your beck and call, that you stop doing that. You don't even say any names anymore. And then you give us Lima. Chestnut checkers. I think the chest and the checkers is the fact that I know that I got some people gonna glaze over me no matter what I do. And I don't have to say anything. They're gonna make up stories for me. He's fighting him because he's getting a belt. He's got a what belt does he have? Oh, he got the Intercontinental USBA North American belt. Like all of it, like, well, who wants that belt though? Like, what difference does that make about having that? So that's the chess part that he's playing, knowing that no matter what I do, that these people are going to make up excuses for me, regardless. Again, I be seeing, and I be hating seeing Brian Norman Sr. on some of these shows because he has to answer these dudes who keep trying to catch him up into something that he said a million times. And you can verify it. Like, man, just don't even answer these dudes, man. Don't even give them the time of the day so they'll go away and you don't have to deal with that little, small, low-brow type of conversations and move on to bigger and better things like that dude is a duck. That should already be a question. That should already be a question that's answered. Now, come on, man. Like, this is you number one. You're the number one duck right now, Boots. Like right now, pound for pound, you're the number one duck in the sport of boxing. I don't wish this on people, but I kind of wish this tanks. And I wish that it tanks to the point where they got $30 tickets that they selling over there. I hope, but again, they don't have events like that in Philly. So they're just gonna be happy to have somebody come home and fight. So they're gonna go over there, have some Max's cheesesteaks and all of that thing. So it's probably gonna sell out. I wish it doesn't. I hope it flops as far as people watching this. The reason why I say that, because if it flops, then maybe he'll get the picture. Like, I can't be fighting these type of dudes, and I gotta up the level of my competition if I want to get paid the way I want to get paid. But then it don't even seem like getting paid matters to him because he turned down like $5 to $8 million, the Ortiz fight and then the Devin fight. So it don't look like money is the thing. Like, if you give me $1 million or $2 million here and there, then I'm cool. As long as I don't have a bad performance, as long as I'm not embarrassed, as long as I don't lose, I'll prefer to take this little chump. I ain't gonna say chump change. I'm saying it is in terms of not taking the life-changing money. Most people, if you give them an opportunity, $8 million, you'll fight Godzilla for $8 million. Dog, man, these dudes don't know how to move, man. Stuff is crazy. And we keep giving them an excuse. But I was saying, as far as my main man, Ortiz, they're saying this. So it says Boots is okay. Oh no! Before we even get to that, so now this is when it gets worse. So when you keep saying like Eddie Hearn and this and that, right? No, you can't keep giving this dude an excuse because again, he's at a point in his career where he could open his mouth and say, "No, I want to fight him. I want to fight him." At least say it. If you say it, then it could come into fruition. But he doesn't, right? The other thing is this. So this part of it, check this out. Where they said that Boots, I listened to an interview. I ain't gonna say the channel, but that channel, they need to stop it, man. You gotta hold people accountable, and they don't. They keep glossing over and saying that people are hating on Boots. No, nobody's hating on Boots. It's the fact we want Boots to reach his full potential. That's all we want to see. You can't reach your full potential by keep fighting less than stellar opposition over and over. Now, here's the thing, Ty. Boots, in one of their interviews, he made the fatal mistake of saying that they offered Ramos a fight, but he turned it down. Now, he said he didn't know why he turned it down, but guess what? The offer, so Jesus Ramos, the 154-pounder, He on Twitter, he said that I never was offered a fight. They offered my uncle a fight, the 147-pound guy. What do you say about that?
You talking to me or Val?
Whoever wants to answer that.
Unless Abel Ramos open his mouth, I don't know.
I'm gonna keep going, nigga. If you don't have no opinion on that, why we even had these conversations? Ty, you got anything you got to say, man?
Yeah, I mean, if you listen, man. At the end of the day,
listen. If you don't have like fight anybody, it don't matter, dog. Because ain't nobody gonna have the.
Yeah, I mean that's a big mistake to send it to the wrong fighter. I don't get that. To send it to the wrong fighter.
You a duck. That's what you doing. Either somebody's lying here, man. How do you not know Abel Ramos from Jesus Ramos? You a freaking fighter. And then on top of that, you making it seem the way he said it was that it was Jesus Ramos, like all of these dudes are ducking me. And Lemos is the only one that want to fight you? Man, please. Ortiz was offered a fight in December. He offered him a fight in December. He said that he was looking to get all of the belts. You got Tio called him out. He was going to get a huge payday for Tio. Devin was going to fight him. They declined to fight Devin. Norman wants to fight him. They didn't want to fight. He took his boots and ran to 154. Now he's saying, remember, I want big fights. So what guy? I don't know, man. This is one thing I don't understand. How in the hell can a doctor tell you go to your doctor and they give you a damn note saying that you're only working at 30% of your functioning capabilities? What doctor can tell you that? This dude is a liar, man. Like, that's what it is. So Abel Ramos, I don't know if it was Abel Ramos. The dude came on Twitter and said that I didn't get an offer. They gave the offer to my uncle, which is Abel Ramos, who's the 147-pound fighter who lost to or had a draw with Barrios. That's who they want to fight. So you want a 147-pound fighter to come to you, you lowball him in an offer to fight you at 154. What sense does that make? Unless you just somebody who wants to have somebody in front of you who is an easy prey so you can look good. And that's the reason why you keep declining all these fights, because you know you might not look good, or you think you might not look good against those guys. That's what it is, man. You gotta call this stuff out. I mean, if you don't have an opinion about anything, then the dude's just gonna keep doing the same thing over and over.
I already said my opinion. I mean, how long are we gonna spend talking about boots? Like, we said our opinion. Like,
that's a different conversation. Jesus Ramos reveals BS offer. That's the topic right there. That's what we're talking about. The other thing on here, it says Virgil Ortiz. So when you talked about Virgil Ortiz and him fighting Lubin, I thought that was the case before. But he's saying that, no, we're targeting Xander Zayas, and he's denying the Lubin fight, the rumors about the Lubin fight. What do you have any thoughts on this?
I think Xander Zayas is a great fight for Virgil Ortiz. And I never liked the fight with him and Erickson Lubin. I think Lubin should be fighting some soft. That if anybody should be taking some soft touches, it should be Erickson Lubin right now.
What about you?
Yeah. I think the to me, in my professional opinion, I think the Lubin fight is actually easier than the Zayas fight. I just think Lubin, like he just had more wear and tear. Like we seen what happened in the the Fundora fight. He looked the form, in that fight. He got stopped by Mel in the first round. So I think the Zayas fight is definitely harder. I think the Lubin fight is a little easier. I think that Virgil's pressure may be too much for Lubin. I think it would be a good fight, but I think as the rounds, as it gets to the later rounds, I think that pressure would just be too much for Lubin, and Virgil come out with a stoppage. So, but I think the Zayas fight would be more tricky for Virgil.
I think it's two problems that you're trying to solve. Xander, the thing about him is that he's younger and more youthful, and he hasn't taken a punishment that Lubin has faced. But again, Lubin is somebody who has a little bit more dynamics in terms of, you got to be careful, because that hammer, he still does. They don't call him a hammer for nothing, right? So he's still somebody who's athletic up until that point where he might get worn down based on the pressure, Ortiz has to be weary. He has to be cognizant of getting clocked. And we've seen Virgil hurt. I saw him hurt against Borchuk. I saw him hurt against the Mean Machine or Green Machine with Mean Machine. He was hurt in that fight. So, you know, he has to be careful. So I think that, and then Lubin, I think that he deserves an opportunity based on what he's given to the sport at one last crack at it. I don't think he's that washed up at this particular point in his career like Dillian White. He's not to that point. He's still somebody that's dangerous who should be given one last hurrah. And I think this is a perfect opportunity for him, even if it's the Murtazalia fight. Give him that chance, man. Lubin's always been somebody who's been going for the gusto, you know, and then just give him one last chance at it. Maybe the third time's the charm for him. You know, you just never know. Xander Zayas, I just don't think he's ready yet. And he may last longer and he may last the distance, but I don't think that he'll provide any. I just don't think he has that extra gear that he can go to in order to do anything with Virgil, you know, but we shall see. So if Virgil doesn't fight Lubin, you don't consider that a duck?
No.
Okay, I'm just asking. I don't know. Like to me,
me personally, I'd rather see Virgil and Lubin than Zayas. To be honest, I'd rather see that fight.
You'd rather see which one?
I'd rather see Virgil fight Lubin over Zayas. I prefer that fight.
Yeah, me too. That's what I'm saying. But if he fought Xander, you wouldn't consider it a duck.
Nah.
Okay. All right, let's go. Yeah, so then he can stay on my top 10. That's all I'm asking. All right. Now that last, this might be the last topic or two. We might have a few more. I'm not sure. Because Vail don't like answering questions today. He over there trying to keep it PC. You know what I'm saying? But Andre Ward, he's been talking a little bit, man. He's been talking to Andre Durrell a little bit. They've been having conversations, talking about having a sparring session and all of this and that. So he's getting a little feisty, a little bit, little talkative, a little bit chatty patty, you know, in the past few weeks or so. And he also revealed that he wants an Anthony Joshua potential matchup in Wembley Stadium, and it's been met with some sarcasm. You know, I don't think Ward has fought since like 2017. Last time he fought, I think me and Vail, we went up there to check him out, you know, at a little kind of like quasi fight party. What do you think about this? Does he have a chance, or would he have a chance against AJ?
I don't like his chances against AJ. And even so, it's like, I'm like, man, unless it's a $20 million price tag with that, I would stick to
CJ Rich. Appreciate you, good brother. He said I was spitting. You know, okay. Was I spitting the facts, or was I actually spitting? You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you that it was the facts, man. But certainly appreciate you. Thanks for subbing to the channel. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, but I would stick to sparring Durrell. You know, and I saw that banner between them two, and then Andre Berto coming on and being a referee. I think that would be a fun thing for them to do. But as Andre Ward coming out and against AJ, it's hard to even see who will win from that. Like, because AJ had, I mean, what does AJ gain by fighting Andre Ward? I mean, if he loses, he'll look stupid. If he wins, they'll be like, you beat up a smaller guy who hasn't fought in like over 5 years. So I think that if you AJ, why would you take this fight? And Andre Ward is not a huge seller neither. So it's like, if you AJ, if I'm AJ, why would I take a fight with Andre Ward? And I think that's the biggest problem. And I feel like if Andre Ward was willing to fight, and I love Andre Ward, I mean, great fighter to me, but if he was willing to fight AJ, I think, because this is not the first time that he said this. I think his window to really do it and get it done was when he beat after he beat Kovalev, and he was talking about moving up to heavyweight and fighting one fight there. I thought that would have been a better move for him, because he had a better chance, you know, to upset AJ, and then he would have cemented his legacy that way.
Yeah, I think Dre, because he always been talking like that. You know, as far as one AJ, it would have been interesting to see what would have transpired at that time that he was actually active. I don't think. See, now if you have this AJ facing Ward when he was active, I would give him a legitimate shot of beating AJ because what he's seeing is the same thing that Usyk and those guys see in AJ being a smaller guy and him being something. And I said this when your friend, I forgot her name, she was upset with me when I said that AJ is basic. Like he's just like a basic 1-2 type. Yeah, she got upset with me. But then AJ ended up losing, and then she was more receptive to what it is I was saying. I'm not saying that he's a bad fighter or anything like that, but I do think that he has basic, he's basic in terms of somebody who has the know-how. They kind of know what AJ is going to do because he's just going to do basic stuff. He's good at the basics, but he would attempt to do the same thing that Usyk. That's what he sees, that he can kind of line them up for certain shots, and he can walk him into certain things. And then just AJ is going to be kind of apprehensive at certain times. They'll do certain things to just make him apprehensive and they'll know when certain big shots are coming that they can avoid. And then they can also roll with punches and things like that. That's what they see. Now, as far as Ward being able to do that now, I just think he's been on the ring too long in order to be able to pull it off. And it still would have been a daunting task for him, even if he was in his prime. I saw a couple times when he was fighting like Kovalev, he does a lot of good stuff on the inside. But you got to factor in, AJ is like 70 pounds heavier than Kovalev. And Kovalev was doing some damage in that first fight. So just imagine what the bigger guy. It's not like he's the same size. Usyk is like 20 pounds naturally bigger than Andre Ward. So that would be a daunting task for a smaller guy to be able to take some of the shots from AJ. Even if he's not hitting you flush, he's just hitting you on your arms. He's just hitting you on your shoulders and things like that. He's breaking through. You have your guards up, and that still, can be a pounding that you're taking. But what about you, Ty? What do you think, man, as far as this unexpected call out?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. This is something I would really want to see. But if it was to happen, yeah, you made some good points. Ward hasn't fought in years. This is a bigger division. I'm sure since he hasn't fought in so long, I'm sure he's gained weight, so it'll probably be easier for him to maybe he's at heavyweight right now. I don't know. But Ward was one of the best in his division. Skilled, he had everything about him that made him one of the best. Retired with no injuries, no nothing like that. So I think he'll make it a good fight. AJ at this point is more washed up. He was in a war in his last fight, got stopped by the boy. So I think if Ward had a nice training camp, he would come in there prepared for that fight and be able to deal with AJ. But like I said, AJ is a big guy. Ward hasn't been hit by a guy that heavy, so it's tricky, man. I can't really call it, man. But I think Andre Ward is smart enough to avoid AJ's punches. For however long the fight would be, 10 rounds, 12 rounds. I think Ward would be smart enough to avoid all those big shots and can probably come out with a decision. But like I said, it's not something I would really entertain, though.
You think so? After that many years off, he's still, because man, that's tricky to be able to. Yeah, even after like 2 years, you know what I'm saying? Like that's tough to come back from 7, and you haven't really been getting hit. I mean, all that 16-ounce gloves and stuff, that's cool. But when you go up in there with them thumpers,
yeah, I mean, like I said, as long as he has a decent, let's say 6 months training camp where he's doing everything he needs to do to be prepared, I think he'll be all right. But I mean, this is not like we're talking Carissa Shields and later Ali, where it's a big age difference or anything like that. So, I mean, I think with a decent training camp, good team, he can be able to I think he'll still be fast enough on his feet to, avoid AJ's big shots, still have good defense, still have good reflexes. So I think with a nice proper training camp, he'll be able to pull it off. But like I said, this is a big size difference. I don't know how it's going to feel when he gets caught by a big heavyweight like AJ. Might startle him, rattle him. I don't know. So if he's able to avoid AJ's shots for 10 rounds, 12 rounds, I think he could pull it off with a decision. But like I said, this is just me speculating. It's not. I ain't really entertaining this, so I don't think it's gonna happen. But it's just me
speculating. Man, I think Andre go to sleep quicker than Bud's gonna go to sleep on the 13th, man. But I don't know. You know, he is a tough hombre.
Bud gonna be awake, man.
No, Bud getting some good rest. But this is what Ruiz said. So Andy Ruiz, he's saying that Jake Paul has a better chance of beating Anthony Joshua than Andre Ward at this particular point.
Nah.
You know, go ahead.
Nah.
Why not? He's been active.
Yeah, but Jake Paul is nah. Jake Paul get put to sleep by as quick as Ngannou did. Period.
Okay. What do you see though? Like as far as his skills,
he doesn't have skill. He doesn't have the skills. We did like Ty just went on about Andre Ward, being skilled enough and quick on his feet to absorb. To be able to avoid Joshua's punches. Jake Paul doesn't have that type of know-how. Now I'm not saying he's not skilled, but he's not skilled on an upper echelon level where him at a cruiserweight could go step up and fight an Anthony Joshua, get hit by because Jake Paul gets hit. And you don't want him getting hit by Anthony Joshua. Jake Paul, we comparing Jake Paul to someone who is a gold medalist, Olympian in Andre Ward, and I think it's levels to this. It's levels.
Okay, but again, the man has been active though. You know what I'm saying, and one hasn't. That has to be taken into consideration as well.
Compared to Andre Ward, I don't take that in consideration.
Okay. What about you, Ty? Do you agree with the statement here?
Nah, I don't think Jake Paul has a better shot. Like Val just said it. Andre Ward, man, he retired undefeated. Jake Paul he's doing his thing, but let's be realistic, man. He beat a washed up Chavez. When he fought a real boxer for the first time, he lost. He beating the UFC guys, a basketball player. Don't get me wrong. He's looking good. He's looking better each time he gets in there. But you can't compare Jake Paul and Andre Ward, man. You just can't, man. You can't compare them two. So you can't compare them, man. Like if Andre Ward is in a training camp, you're going to see him doing things like a boxer normally does. You see Jake Paul still learning. Still progressing. Andre Ward, he's already a student. He knows what to do. You can't. I'll give Andre Ward a better chance, even though he's been inactive and Paul's been active. Paul's not really fighting 100% boxers. Yes, he's fought a few, but he's looking good. He's looking better, but he's not really fighting legit opponents though.
He's been off 7 years, fellas. That doesn't mean anything to you guys anymore. Like fighting against.
And I know I talked about this before. Like, I only say this because this is what I've seen with my own eyes. Like, you take Amir Man, so I know he don't fight anymore. But he was in prison for 8.5 years. Came out and still was climbing up the ladder and still made his way to TV and fighting some names. And this was a guy who ain't fought in 8.5 years. So, and this is an older guy. So why can't a gold medalist, a guy who's good as Andre Ward, come back and had that kind of success? Even though he's already had the success in his career.
Bill,
I look at Andre Ward like Usyk. Like if Usyk can do that, the AJ. I know Usyk came from a lighter division, so if Usyk can do that, come up and beat all these top guys, why can't Andre Ward come up and beat AJ, who's already been in all these wars, been stopped a few times? I think Ward has the fundamentals. He has the footwork. Even though he's older, I think he still has the goods to not get hurt by AJ. So I'll give Ward a better shot than Jake Paul. That's just me.
No, and we all just making our assumptions and making logical rational decisions based on what we observe. My biggest concern is that 7-year time frame. When I think about that, I always think about dudes like Sugar Ray Leonard when he came back against Hector Camacho and he got tapped on the chin. He just looked like a shell of himself because he had just been away too long. That
would happen to Jake Paul anyway. Because truth be told, if Andre Ward came back and fought Jake Paul, who you got in that fight?
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that if they fought AJ, because styles, it's a clash of styles. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like Ali, Frazier, Foreman. Like you can't say or Ali against Ken Norton, and then you say, well, who would win between Ali and Norton? And then it's close. I don't, they always close. I think Norton might have really won maybe 2 of those fights, if he was being honest as far as the judges. But then how would Foreman do against Norton? Oh, he killed him. But then does that mean that Foreman couldn't beat Ali? No, we saw what happened when those two fought against it. It's a clash in style. So I can't use that as a barometer in terms of how would each guy fare against AJ, because AJ is going to be pounding on Ward. Now, he would be pounding on Jake Paul too. I don't like Jake Paul's chances because of this, is that I just haven't seen his ability to be able to buy time and things like that. He does better when dudes kind of move around, and then he can kind of like fight at his own pace when he wants to work, and then he can take a little bit of break. But if you're coming at him, applying pressure, and then also how is he going to be getting in on AJ? Because AJ really can keep that jab on him and then work that 1-2. Is he going to be able to get out of the way of those straight shots? Because he isn't, has experience like that. So that would be the thing. It's just Jake Paul has power though too. So, AJ might be a little bit reluctant, but I think AJ get him out of there first, second round, to be honest with you. That's going a little bit too far as him having a better chance than Andre Ward. I don't think either one of them have a chance at this particular stage, even though if Andre Ward was in his prime, this version of AJ, I think that he would have a very, very legitimate shot of beating. Because AJ be doing some silly stuff too. Like I say, he just never felt like a big dude. If AJ just went in there and he was doing a Klitschko push you down and all that type of stuff, then he'd be whooping a lot of these dudes because he'd wear them out. But he just don't be doing that type of stuff. He don't know how. Last few questions, man. Speaking of AJ, what would you like to see him do? So you're saying that the Ward fight doesn't do anything for him. Jake Paul, he could put Jake Paul out of his misery and get handsomely rewarded. But that's something that you typically do with the Jake Paul if you decide that you're not going to really fight contenders anymore. But if he's going to go and fight a contender, they're talking about Tony Yoka. But Hearn is dismissing that. If he's not going to fight somebody like Tony Yoka, what do you see? What do you think AJ should do then? If you're saying that he shouldn't take the Andre Ward fight either.
No, I think a Jake Paul, Deontay Wilder, or retire. Those are choices.
What about you, Tom? What do you think?
That's a good question. Yeah.
I mean, y'all don't want to.
I agree. I agree, well, in a sense, but I just don't think Wilder would go for that at this point. I don't see Wilder going for that, man. So I don't see that happening. But that's a question I really need to think on. I never thought of that. Yeah.
Well, while you think about it, I can share all my thoughts. But see, I said this in previous episodes. I'm just saying that because I already knew you guys were going to be kind of reluctant on him facing either one of those guys. Unless you're saying that he should fight Jake Paul. I think that he should try to make one more run of it. Because again, those two fights are always going to be there. Like the Jake Pauls, the Wilders. That it will always sell, regardless. So if I want to get me one last stab at it, I want to put myself in one last situation where I can get a Usyk fight or something like that. What I would do, I will fight somebody like a Tony Yoka. Like I would fight that particular guy, build a little bit of confidence. After that, you got to stay away from the fast dudes. You can't fight the Cabals. You can't fight the kid Moses Atama. Don't stay away from those dudes. They too much for you at this particular stage. So you got to have fights that are favorable to you in terms of matchups. So get the Yoka. Now, here's the kicker though. It depends on how much he wants the last crack at a belt. He could do or if he wants the Fury, I think he can lure Fury out of retirement. So if you do that, get you a Yoka win, you might can go into a Fury fight after that. Or if you really are serious at right now with the loss that Dubois just had in the way that he lost, you might be able to capitalize on that and get your rematch right now. And then they'll put you where you like marketing wise, you'll be at a high. Oh, AJ went ahead and rematch Dubois, wrote that wrong, and then voila, you're right back there, Wembley Stadium against one of the top guys. But you can always fall back on the Jake Paul fight because again, you should be able to beat him. However washed up you are, you should still be able to beat somebody like that. Second to the last topic before we wrap it up, fellas. Regis Prograis, he says he's seeking out another fight, so he can secure a mega fight with Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, or Jojo Diaz. Let's remove Jojo from the equation. How do you like Regis's chances against either Ryan or Devin Haney?
I think he has a better chance against Garcia than he does against Haney. But you want to remove Jojo, that's who he should be fighting.
I'm removing him because I think we saw what would happen in a fight between those two. Devin Haney's fight been a little bit longer removed. I just thought that, based on what you saw, you would just make observations. So me personally, when I think about those options, yeah, obviously that's who he should fight is Jojo Diaz. But I think how he looked, he is likely to get a fight against somebody like a Ryan Garcia if Ryan Garcia wants a tune-up or something like that. If Rolly Romero wants to make a title defense, he'll fight somebody like Regis Prograis. Devin Haney, when you said that makes no sense, Andre Ward makes no sense, I don't think that Regis Prograis makes any sense for Devin Haney at this particular point in his career, especially the way he looked against Jojo Diaz. And I smoked you. It wasn't even close. Why should I go back and do charity by giving you a fight just because you making all these type of excuses? Maybe if you were a little bit more respectful, I might even entertain it. But the way you were talking, oh, he must be on PEDs. He came in 20 pounds heavy. He's making all these type of excuses. Dude, I beat you. It's within the rules of what it is that I did when I put these paws on you. So you go ahead and hold that L, for the rest of your life. What about you, Ty? What do you think about the chances, his chance against a rematch with Devin or Ryan Garcia?
Nah, I don't see him. I see him having a better chance at Ryan than Devin. Devin made that easy work, man. I can't see him, just coming in there and beating Devin. Like he lost that fight easily. And the bad thing about that was, especially they did so much trash talking at those press conferences, but they didn't show up and show out. So Devin out the equation. Now Ryan didn't look so good. I don't know if it's because he was off the juice or what. Maybe it was because he fought in that setting in New York outside. I don't know. I give him a better chance of beating Ryan than Devin. So I entertain the fight with Ryan, but I have to say I don't really see him winning either one of those. But to go back to the previous topic, I think for AJ, I didn't think of this at first, but I think maybe Jared Miller could kind of, because Jared Miller, like he was supposed to be the one that possibly had the big fight, won the titles off of him, but he popped for PDs and all that, but he made his way back to the division. His suspension is over, so he's doing a lot of talking. He's calling out Wilder. So I would go in that direction and maybe see if they could revisit negotiations with Big Baby Miller. Maybe get some of that confidence back. Because when they had his press conference, Big Baby Miller was pushing him, doing a lot of trash talking. Joshua was just not talking too much, was more on the quiet side. So I think he should get back in the negotiation with Miller. So I would entertain that.
You think so? Listen, man. AJ, to me, he got the boost in this syndrome. I don't think that he likes like that confrontation like that. And so to put him now, if he overcomes it, it might be something that helps him. But he's getting so late in his career. I don't know if you even worry about something like that at this particular point. But I just don't like he likes the confrontation like that, especially now, because he's even more fragile mentally. If he had his confidence high, then I can see him, taking on somebody like a Big Baby Miller, but not right now. He is way too fragile. You want to give him somebody like I say, a Yoka, who's not a talker, not really heavy-handed or anything like that, but he can get just a semblance of confidence moving forward, a smidgen. Yeah, that would do too much for Big Baby, because Big Baby at this point, I definitely would favor him over AJ, based on what I've seen. AJ got so many flaws, man, and he's to the point now. They have stripped him of his confidence so bad that he resorts to, he lightweight doesn't care anymore. Like, it's like the veil has been removed. So when he's getting dropped by Dubois and you see him like licking his tongue out and stuff like that, you know, nah, man, you know, you got to get it back right, get it together, and not try to be. It's like, you know, you get embarrassed, but you don't want to seem like you're embarrassed about something, so you start acting, you know, out of yourself. And so he does that a lot now, more than ever before. So it's like the veil has been removed, and once that happens, then you can easily get somebody off their game, because they're gonna resort to stuff like that once you put them back in that predicament. And I just don't like that, right? That's why I say he needs like a confidence building type fight, and then hopefully when he's working with his people and his trainers and things like that, that they tighten them up so they don't put him in a position to be getting caught where he's going to be vulnerable like that too much moving forward. But he only has like maybe 2-3 fights left tops. You know what I'm saying? And so just get him right for that last one, and then let the chips fall where they may. Last but not least, man, this is the last topic of the day as far as the boxing is concerned. One of the guys that I had on my smoke list, I want to say he was like number 9, Gary Antoine Russell. He's confirming that the negotiations with Hutchinson is set or in play for a year-end unification matchup. If that transpires, what percentage of chance do you give each guy of winning that fight, and why?
I give Gary Antoine Russell probably a 70% chance of winning that fight. I think he's been to the mountaintop. He had his loss already, so he's probably hungrier. He's I think he has a little bit more dog in him. He's not the talker that Hitchens is. I think Hitchens likes to talk and tries to back it up, but I think Gary Antoine Russell is the real deal at 140. So I would favor 70% for Gary Antoine Russell.
Yes, sir. What about you, Tom?
And this is a tricky one, but I have to go with Hitchens on this. Now I know Gary Antoine Russell is a power puncher and everything, but I think Hitchens has the speed, the reflexes, the footwork to stay away from his power for 12 rounds. I think Hitchens can outbox him. When he feels that pressure coming on, he'll clinch, he'll tie up, he'll get himself out of it each time. So I can't see Russell's pressure overcoming Hitchens. I see Hitchens avoiding all of that and just outboxing, jabbing, Russell to death. So I see Hitchens coming out on top with a unanimous decision. I don't even think it's close. I just think Hitchens too fast, too slick. I think Hitchens come out with an unanimous decision. I don't think it's this fight would even give him any trouble.
Well, he lost to him 4 times in amateurs now.
I think it can somehow play out like somehow, some way, something like Shakur versus Oscar Valdez, something like that.
Did you hear what I just said? Do you hear what I just said? Gary Antoine Russell beat him 4 times in amateurs, 4-0.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well.
That's why
but how long ago was it? Same weight class? What was it like?
I'm assuming. I mean, they fought 4 times, so that was Gary Antoine Russell's argument, is that you sitting up here calling out T.O. and Devin and all these guys, man. You need to be looking to get back against me, because I smoked you, 4 times, and I want to say he might have dropped them a time or 2. I can't verify, but I thought I heard him say something like that. But I do know it was 4-0 in the amateur. So be mindful of that. A lot of times when guys have trouble with somebody in the amateurs, it's like it's certain body rhythms that kind of throws them off. Not to say you can't overcome it, Not to say that he's not better now than he was in amateurs. He could have been. I don't know what the age difference is. I don't know who started earlier and where they were at that time, but they do have that past history.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But we'll see, man. I'm not gonna pick anybody in that fight, but if I had to, you put a gun in my head, which hopefully that never happens, I would have to go with Gary Antoine Russell. I just think that rough, rugged style, and Gary Antoine Russell, they matched him against some long guys who are tricky already, like the Bartholomews and the Postals and people like that. Even in his loss that he started to kind of figure it out later in the fight. But those are some tricky styles that I think will well prepare him for Hinchins. And with Hinchins, I just think, man, if he had a little bit more zap in his punches, then I think that he would go much further. But if he runs up against guys who are not really respecting his power with that 1-2 like punching style that he has, it's like it's like a boxer puncher, like 1-2, but it just doesn't have any pop at the end of those punches. That once you fight the upper echelon guys, that they'll start giving you a little bit of trouble. And I think that's what will happen in this fight. But shout out to Hinchins for even considering it, because it looked like he was trying to avoid, Gary Antoine Russell in the past. Now, anything else you guys have before we wrap this one up? We always end, as far as the boxing portion of it, with the Ben Whitaker interactive question, and that is, what round is Bud going to sleep against Canelo on September 13th? What round you think he's going to sleep, Ty? I never really got a chance to ask you. You think it's going to be early first round?
Man, I don't see Bud getting stopped, but this is just a tricky one for me, man. It's for a lot of reasons. I just favor Canelo to win. I'm not going to say by stoppage, but I just favor Canelo to win by decision. Just Crawford hasn't fought in this division. He had a tough fight against Smash Mouth.
no, my bad.
So it's just hard for me to give Bud a shot, because he stopped everybody at 147. He fought once at 154. It was a tricky fight for him. Now he's going up a couple of divisions against Canelo. He's obviously one of the best. So and Bud's older as well. So it's just hard for me to give Bud a shot. I know he can do it, but I know he can do the impossible. But I got Canelo winning this by decision, man. So maybe as it gets closer, I have a change of heart. But right now, I got Canelo. I don't see a stoppage, but I got Canelo winning this by decision. I think Bud's going to use his footwork, but Canelo is going to cut off the ring. He's going to keep coming forward. I'm not going to say it's going to end like Mel, because Mel didn't do much at all. But I think Crawford's going to let his hands go. He's going to be alert. He's going to be active. So I think he's going to make this a tough fight, but he's just going to come up short. So I got Canelo by decision.
What weight do you want Bud to come in at? Because he's bulking up. But I'm saying, like, once he enters that ring, the limit being 168, do you want him to beat the full 168, or do you want him to come in a little bit lighter so he can be more elusive?
Yeah, I'll say lighter to be more elusive, because he may be walking around that weight now, but when you're actually in there engaging with somebody who's got 60-something professional fights, who's got the resume Canelo has. This guy's going to be throwing punches for 12 rounds, man. This is a bigger weight class. Like, how's your stamina going to hold up, with this guy across from you, for 12 rounds? So I just can't see. I think Bud has to come in at exactly 168 or lighter. He can't come in blowed up, past 168 pounds on fight night. So yeah, he has to be at 168 or lighter, man, because I just can't see him moving that great for 12 rounds without getting tired. And plus he's older. So yeah, this for me is Canelo all the way.
Canelo all the way. So it just proves that this dude right here never was the pound for pound fighter. If you can't beat the old Canelo right now, that's what that proves.
So when he beat him, the way he's gonna be.
He's an old washed up Canelo. So what does that tell him?
No. Now you want to move the goalpost now.
No, did you see what my man Hamza did to Berlanga. Did you see that?
I did see that.
What did Bud do? I mean, what did Canelo do with him? Went all 12 rounds. He had Berlanga running around acting like he was the best thing since sliced bread. Hamza went up in there.
Different style, just like we talked about AJ and I did. It's a whole different style.
You know, style. That's just having some power. You tap that chin. That's the end result. Canelo can't do it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Canelo though, because he was a fine fighter back in his day. You know what I'm saying? About 3 or 4 years ago. You know, Bud is over here doing what he does. You know, he cherry picking, find a man at the right time. You know, that's what he does. But again, at the end of the day, Canelo still might land one on the kisser, and that's going to lead to that 41 1 KO loss with 31 KOs against dudes like Amir Khan, Kell Brook, who hadn't fought at the weight class in 4 years. You know what I'm saying? That's going to put a very good, indicator. So we're going to put an asterisk by a lot of his wins on his resume after Canelo put that man to sleep. And like I said, not just a regular Canelo, a washed up Canelo is going to put this man to sleep. So shout out to Bud, though, for even, entertaining the fight. You know what I mean? Last but not least, I know Vail is familiar with my man, one of the finest rappers that came out of Compton. Matter of fact, he's the first to start banging on wax. You know who I'm talking about, LaVille?
Quick.
DJ Quick, man. How familiar are you with DJ Quick, Ty?
Nah, I can't say I'm too familiar with him, man.
Oh man,
yeah, I'm not too familiar with him. Yeah.
What anything?
Nah.
That hurt me right there, man. Well, Bill.
Yeah.
But somebody who doesn't know DJ Quick, can you tell them a little bit about some of the attributes of a DJ Quick?
Oh no, man. DJ Quick is one of the cleanest producers. He don't get a lot of credit because he made a lot of business. I think a lot of business stuff went wrong for him, but I do see some comparisons to Dr. Dre, and I think I don't want to disparage that. People use him to disparage Dr. Dre, saying stuff like he's everything you think Dr. Dre is. I'm not gonna say all that, but I would say that musically he could be on that level. Like he's the one that actually, even though other producers produce Tupac's All Eyes on Me, he the one that kind of cleaned it up and mastered it. So that's why it has that clean, clear sound all the way through. But DJ Quick is one of those. I mean, he raps so well enough that people forget that he was a producer early on. But I mean, dude did his thing. One of my personal favorite albums that he made. Same as Sound was dope. But I liked Rhythmalism, because that was kind of his change away from. That's when it's changed a little bit, change away from the gangster rap, and he kind of made up with MC8, who they were going back and forth for many years. Plus, it was just musically sound, had some live instrumentation on it, live instruments on it, and stuff like that. So, yeah, DJ Quick, he was dope.
Very dope. You just look at the rap part. So for me, DJ Quick, my introduction to Quick was Quick is the Name. And so to me, that has to be the number one CD because of the tracks that were on it. It just reminds me of my era of like high school, right? So Quick came out with, dang, I forgot that. The first song he came out with, it used to be on Music Box all of the time. So when we used to watch videos initially before, because some people had cable, and then also you didn't have access to like Rap City and The Basement and all of that type of stuff, right? So on Fab Five Freddy. So before that, you used to, like hip hop songs, you used to have to, it was the box. And so you would go on TV, it was a certain station that you would turn on, and people would pay like 50 cents or 25 cents to have their music video played. And that song kept coming on over and over and over and over and over. That DJ Quick song from Quick is the Name. And so that was my introduction to him. But And Quick was one of the first guys who had like his little crew. That song was Born and Raised in Compton. Born and Raised in Compton. And he was kind of like a little Eazy-E too. You know what I'm saying? That easy kind of flair to him. Then to me, he has to be Mount Rushmore when it comes to Compton. Because every element of hip hop, the production, hip hop beef. Was you familiar with the beef between him and MC8 Bill? I'm saying at the time when it was happening. Vale, was you familiar with the beef between DJ Quick and MC8 when it was happening? Got me feeling like Dr. Umar. Lavelle, were you familiar? Huh?
Familiar with what?
The beef between DJ Quick and MC8 when it was actually happening, or was that something that you got familiar with later?
Oh, I was familiar with it at least by the time that Murder Was the Case came out, and DJ Quick made Dollars and Cents, which was shots at MC8.
Oh, he killed him. But see, here's the thing. My point that I'm trying to make is when MC8 came out, MC8, and he was with Compton's Most Wanted, they seemed so hard. So when it was, heard that DJ Quick supposedly had dissed them on his mixtape, which MC8 in retrospect took out of context, and then MC8 started making those death wishes, how 8 was so hard, I didn't think DJ Quick was going to even try to mess with that. It just seemed so hard to me. For him to come out with Dollars and Cents, he killed MC8. And then on the award show, he over there talking that he's rapping it with Suge and all of the Death Row dudes. Like MC8 is right there, and he's snapping on him. And the way he talking to him, though, it's like it was so reckless, but it was just at that time, that was just how, rap was. Like it was real. It could go in any direction at any moment. For him to like have the beef and be able to win the beef and put out like some classics and things like that, man, he's one of my all-time favorite. In that beef, when he said, when you with your misspelled name,
I was about to say it, left the G out your name because the G ain't
in you. Like that was so cold, man. That was cold as I don't know what. But he still, to this day, put out some good work. That last CD, I don't know what you call it right here. That's quality as far as like the music and stuff like that. But he has a younger dude that's rapping with him, and he has some appearances from other artists, West Coast artists. But that's a solid project that he had last year, even up to most current, recent times. He's still putting in that work. So I just wanted to ask you, my favorite is Quick as the Name. Safe and Sound is a close second. It's just that when I was in high school, that we were banging a mess out of Quick as the Name. All right, fellas, man. Anything else? You got anything you want to say, Ty, as far as your hip hop, that you want to discuss? Anything that you've been listening to lately that you want to share? Like, man, this is a banger right here that I've been listening to that has came out recently.
Well, like when I'm on the truck, I've always got my phone out. So a lot of times, just listening to a lot of old stuff. For the most part, it's always old stuff. But like, did you guys ever like the Mad Rapper?
I don't like them as far as the skits. Like, it was funny. I don't know about anything.
Like, as far as music, yeah, I was listening to his album. He only really had like one album or something, right? It was an album he had. I think it was called "Tell Me Why You Mad" or something. But I was listening to some of that, and then I remember he was featured on Jermaine Dupri. It was him, DMX, I believe. But I was listening to some of his music. I know he's an old school guy, so I never like listened to the Mad Rapper. So I thought he was decent. Aside from the skits.
Yeah, skits was cold. Yeah, I wasn't really checking for him as far as his bars. But let me add, this is the last thing I'm gonna ask, and then we can go ahead and let it go, man. What's this year? Have you heard something that you would consider that's the best CD that you've heard this year?
we are aging ourselves. We talk CDs. We ask that question. Folks look at you funny, like what? They look at you funny, like what? Well, album. Okay, the best album I would say,
Mm.
or EP. I gotta go with that Clips, man. It was something.
As far
Okay.
as far as the album, nah. But I did wanted to ask you, Will. I meant to ask you this the other day. Have you heard Cardi's first song, "Imaginary Player"?
No, but I heard that Jay-Z streams have gone up
That's then, yeah.
exponentially since she came out with the song. But I remember that song that he came out with when it
Yeah,
came
that's
out.
I love that, man. "Imaginary Player." Like she kind of go like with the same direction he's going, but Jay's is better than that, man. But she it was okay. I gotta listen to it again, Cardi's. But I mean, it was decent, but it don't top what Jay did on "Imaginary Player."
I'm sure not, because he played that persona very well. Iceberg Slim. That's what he was trying to be at that time. Yeah, no, that's one of Jay-Z's classics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and some of those type of songs, I wouldn't even, as an artist, even touch some of those songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't want to. It's like when they came out with Belly 2 with Game. It's like, dude, what the heck is this? This don't even.
Well, that was supposed to be Belly 2. They made some hood flick, and they was like, you know what? To make some money, let's rename it Belly 2. That's really what happened.
So again, my point is the fact that just leave that name alone, because as soon as you say that, you can't live up to those expectations of such a masterpiece. And then the moment in which it came out, you can't halfway do stuff and then just rename it whatever. You know what I mean? Because it should be, certain things should be off limits. You know what I mean? And I think the Imaginary Player, unless it's somebody who has, let's say for instance, you're doing a mixtape and then you want to go and drop some bars off on Imaginary Player and you doing it in a mixtape, to me that's different. You know what I'm saying? Like you doing it your own way. But to come out with a song that similar and I haven't heard it, but that just seemed like it's just sloppy to me. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the answer to the question that I said, as far as the top rap CDs of 2025 that I've heard so far, I was going to go with Gibbs. Now, when I was in Rio, matter of fact, one of the young ladies I was hanging with, she stopped by one of the days, and I was listening. We were, together, and I had the Freddie Gibbs Alfredo 2 like playlist going, as because that was my theme while I was there, because that just came out. And just musically, Alchemist, it's a cold sequel to the first one, but he's in a pocket where the music is so mellow throughout that it never leaves that space. Like you don't have any high tempo songs that's all like that slow melody, but they different. And then Freddie is riding those beats so cold, and then he has certain little slick things that he's saying throughout, and he's just, the way he rhymes and his voice and everything, it's just, they work perfectly together. I was going to go with Alfredo 2 being the number one seed of this year until, see, Freddie is just missing the substance of the clips. Like the clips has, not only do you like the songs musically that they're great, but they give you different types of songs. They might give you a heartfelt song talking about their parents. They may give you a song when you listening to it, and lyrically, if you just listen to the lyrics of it, I'm talking about as far as like they syllables and things like that they're putting together, the figurative language and things like that. Then on top of that, it may be double layered with the song like FICO. FICO, you might just like that song because the stuff that they're talking about. Malice is taking you through some of his drug tales of being over there in Virginia. But then if you listen to his lyrics and put it all together, in addition to that, it's already like a 5-star, whatever your measuring tool for it is. Let's say, for instance, 10 out of 10 already. But then you add the layer of he's going over different numbers where he's talking about, I had a Glock, let's say, for instance, or my jeans was 27. I had a Glock so-and-so, whatever number he say. Then his last line is he's talking about everything he's saying is real, like the first 48 or something along those lines. The fact that all the numbers that he's mentioning in that in those lyrics for that part of the song, if you add them up, it matches the last line of the song, which is the first 48. The numbers, if you put them together and you add them up, is 48. Like, so I'm just saying little stuff like that. That's just amazing to me that they're so creative and they're giving you different pieces of that throughout the whole CD. The reason why I was going to lean towards Freddie is because I just like all of the songs on Freddie. You don't even have to skip anything. You know what I mean? For any reason, it's just the vibe of it, but it just doesn't have that type of substance. So I got to go with the clips, man. Anything else you guys have, man, as we wrap this one up? Appreciate you, man, working through with me. I was off my game the first half of the show because I didn't get my nap, but things got a little bit greater later.
No, sir.
Anything you want to say, share, Ty, before we wrap it up, man, or as we wrap it up?
Nah, I think that's it, man, for me. Yeah, so good show, man, as always.
I appreciate you, man. Bill, go ahead and close us out, man. I'm over here. I'm tired now, man.
Yeah, we're tired. Will out. So everybody, man, always check us out, man. Shout out to you, Ty, Will, Shelton, all the folks in the comments, CJ Rich, Nerd, Bebop, Jones, you know what I'm saying? Teach, Son of Apollo. Man, shout out to all y'all, man. Keep supporting the channel, man. Last one's at the bar. So
yes, sir. Atama, make sure you fight. You fight your sword, man. Don't be sitting up there listening to these fellas, man. I gave it my all, man. I'm over here. I'm tired. I'm worn out. I need me a shower. I need me to give me a little rest. I might have to rest up. I might have to take off a few days to be prepared for the next episode. But I do this for you, man. I do this for everybody who listen. Y'all have a great week. Appreciate you again, Ty. We out. Peace.
Peace.